ABC Sports presents CFA Football. The Michigan Wolverines of the Big Ten Conference and Southern Independent South Carolina. Bo Schembechler, Dean of the Big Ten coaches at Michigan, never a losing season in 22 years. And Jamie Morris, 5'7", 175 last year, the second freshman ever to lead Michigan in rushing. He is the younger brother of Joe Morris, running back for the New York Giants. He's a good one. South Carolina coach Joe Morrison, former All-Pro, who has become an outstanding college coach with players like quarterback Mike Hold and a wide-open gambling offense. This has made the Gamecocks, in just 2 years, one of the most exciting college football teams in the country.
CFA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to see today Chevy, drive today Chevy, live today Chevy. By Stroh's and Stroh Light, the circle of sports beer. By AC Delco, General Motors Corporation, quality replacement parts for just about anything that moves. AC Delco, the smart part. And by Prestone 2 Antifreeze. America goes with Prestone.
The Michigan Wolverines, 2012 winners over Notre Dame in their opener last week. Today, the first time Michigan's ever played a football game in the state of South Carolina. Ranked this week 15th, Bo Schembechler, going into his 17th year at Michigan with a record of 147, 37, and 3. So Bo Schembechler brings his Wolverines to the Palmetto State the first time. Stadium is filled. He's heard this sound before, but it'll be a tough day to be heard in South Carolina. It's an incredible production when the South Carolina Gamecocks come into the stadium after a week off with a record of 2-0 on this season. They start with Michigan over a period of 3 games that could make or break their season. They're ranked 11th by the coaches poll, Joe Morrison's third year, 17-8-0. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson along with Frank Broyles, and we play on real grass in hot southern weather today. And this is a matchup of the banger and the jabber, muscle and quickness, and 2 entirely different coaching philosophies.
But Bo Schembechler believes that you win by physically defeating and intimidating your opponent with a strong running game, with an outstanding defense. He feels it's a game of contact and you out-tough the other opponent. On the other hand, Keith, Joe Morrison is a finesse coach. Speed, mobility, big plays. He feels like you win by movement and moving around in offense. So we're looking for that matchup. Can greater mobility overcome excessive strength and size?
I would expect if South Carolina is to have success against Michigan, it might come early in the ball game, maybe over the first half or 3/4.
The speed of the game that South Carolina will put forth will be a surprise to Michigan, and they should have success and be effective early. But I think it's a legitimate expectation to expect Michigan to adjust as the game goes along and wears out and begun to really take effect against that offense.
Of course, they haven't seen the veer. That's the element.
The element of the triple option is something that you don't see in the Big Ten. And Bo is worried about this. He feels like his team are going to have to learn the speed of the game as they go along in that first quarter.
It is also kind of interesting to note that it is South Carolina who has the immediate history of coming back or winning ball games late. So they have a tremendous confidence they can pull a ball game out in the last minute. So that's a kind of an interesting edge for them as we go into a ball game today matching the Big Ten, Michigan Wolverines, and Independent South Carolina.
Trouble.
Some microphone troubles to get it started. South Carolina won the toss. They've elected to take the kickoff to start the second half of play. Jamie Morris, number 23, is one of the deep men, and John Colasar is the other for Michigan. Jamie Morris at 5'7", 175 pounds. As we noted a moment ago, had a remarkable freshman year. It was a long time, 1945, since a freshman led the Michigan Wolverines in rushing. South Carolina as Hagler kicks off. Scott Hagler hits Puts it into the air, drives it deep into the end zone, and there will be no return. It'll be Michigan's ball, first down at their own 20 with Jim Harbaugh, 6'3", 200 at quarterback. Morris, as we told you, 5'7", 175, a sophomore. Gerald White opens at fullback, a 215-pounder. Your wide people are Gilvani Johnson at flanker, 6'1", 190, and Paul Yokish, 6'8", 240, a very big target. So Jim Harbaugh, who got hurt last year in the ball game, actually early in the season, and was not around to help the Wolverines as they struggle to a 6-5 record. But he's a big fella and he's tough. And it is Thomas Wilshire who comes in at tailback and opens at that spot for Michigan. And he is planted, hit so hard his helmet comes flying off as he picks up 2 yards. Middle linebacker Willie Hill nailed him. Eric Caddis is the tight end. Clay Miller, 270-pound tackle. Mike Hussar, 280 at guard. Tabachino is 265 at center. Hammerstein is 275 at guard. And John Elliott at 285 plays the other tackle. There's Big John. Well, there was an impression made that time on the running back by Willie Hill. And Wilshire stays in at the tailback. Thomas is a 185-pounder, a junior out of Detroit. And Harbaugh, long count, probably checked off, gives to his fullback, White. And White finds a crack, and he comes banging out for a first down at the 32. Defensive alignment is Tony Guyton, Byron Love, Tom Chaikin, Ricky Daniels. The backers are Kenny Robinson, Willie Hill, and Carl Hill. The defensive secondary for the Gamecocks, Major, Philpott, Brooks, and Dunlop. And we've got a Michigan man, number 77, the center, Bob Tabachino, a fifth-year senior out of Youngstown, Ohio, who was shaken up on the last play. But he did his job before he went down. He opened a big hole for the running back.
One thing coaches just don't want is a center to be injured. That's a key position, getting that snap, start of every play to the quarterback. Tabachino was a starter guard last year, moved to center this fall to fill that role, a key role in any offensive line of scrimmage.
It is first down for Michigan. Ball is at the 32. Andy Borowski comes in at center for the Wolverines. And South Carolina jumped but didn't make contact. Man gets back. Ball goes to Wilshire, number 84. Comes flying up, Kenneth Robinson, the strong side linebacker, and there is a loss on the play. They call the South Carolina defensive bunch the Fire Ants, and they look like it.
Keith, they play with emotion. That was an outstanding play by Robinson. He wasn't fooled on the play. He stayed anchored over his position and made the play. But those Fire Ants, they believe that all 11 people should be involved in the tackle. They'll chase the football and give great effort. They're not very big, Keith. That's the thing we're going to watch for. Can the power of Michigan overpower the mobility of South Carolina?
Second down and 12. The ball back at the 30, and Harbaugh back to throw. Goes down the middle with it, throwing underneath the coverage to the big tight end, Caddis. And Caddis wrestles his way up around the 40. He is short of the first down. That'll bring up third down and short for the Wolverines.
Jim Harbaugh was the starting quarterback last year for Michigan, was 3-1 when he broke his arm falling on a fumble in the Michigan State ball game. Here he shows great poise, waiting till the receivers get open, dumping the ball right over the line of scrimmage for a nice gain.
Third, a yard and a half now as they go to a double tight end alignment. This is muscle football. We're coming at you. Try to stop us. Wilshire finds a big hole and breaks it big. He is to the sidelines and cut down at the South Carolina 40. So they came straight at him. They blew the door open, and bingo, they've got a first down.
Kenneth Robinson, number 84, just fires right through there and runs right by the ball carrier. Linebackers that blitz, this was something on a short yardage. Just the hole that Robinson left from, number 84, you see the ball carrier, Wilshire, break right through. That's the danger you take, risk you take when you stunt and fire the linebacker.
Jamie Morris is now in at tailback. They give instead inside to White, the fullback, and he's going to have a couple of yards out of the wrestling match as he gets down to inside the 38-yard line.
South Carolina with a very small mobile defense trying to move around, trying to get something going. This time Robinson, the leading tackler, number 84, good linebacker, diagnoses the play very well. As soon as the play develops, he shoots a gap again. This time he goes through the right area and makes the play.
So it'll be second down and about 7. Call it a 2.5-yard pickup for them. Michigan now going double wide. You're seeing some new formations out of the Wolverines over the last 3 years. And Harbaugh back to throw, under pressure, sacked back at the 48 of South Carolina. That's a loss of about 10 yards. Love and Chaikin were the two people who came in. Byron Love, the left tackle, and Tom Chaikin, the nose guard, just came flying in. You see other scores from games that have already been finished in the eastern part of the country. BC was out to a big lead, blew it, and then came back to win it, and Florida State had to come from behind to beat Memphis State. They were down at one time 10-0. So the ball is marked officially at the 47, and a loss of 10, so it's third down and long. And Harbaugh will put it up. Again throws underneath, and the man making the catch is Jamie Morris, and he felt that time the sting of the support people up front in the secondary, that being the linebacker Kenneth Robinson. It brings up fourth down, and the Michigan kicking team comes on.
Keith, the South Carolina defense held up very effectively in that first series. They were picked a little bit on the run, but they were guessing, begin to get their timing down and stop the Michigan offense with a sack.
Monty Robbins, the punter, his average last year was just under 44, best in school history. Shoots it out of there. It's a twisting, spinning kick heading for the corner. Michigan after it, can't get it. Just eluded the pursuer and trickled into the corner, and it'll be South Carolina's ball. First down at their own 20. You've got 10 minutes to go first quarter.
A couple of updates from down here on the Michigan bench. First, Bob Tabachino, the Michigan center, has a slight muscle pull in his left leg. They said he probably will be back. They've worked on him on the sidelines. More importantly now, as the Michigan defense takes the field, let me tell you that Mike Mallory, the leading tackler last year for Michigan, the inside linebacker, has a pulled hamstring. It has tightened up on him. He was taken out of the game last week. He probably will not play at all today. Instead, Andre McIntyre will be in the ballgame, Keith.
South Carolina's first snap and a penalty flag as they go to the veer with Kent Haygood carrying it. And you've got flags all over the field, so it looks like the Gamecocks might have been dancing around a little bit before the ball was snapped. The officials are from the Southern Independent Association. The referee, Paul Schmidt. Paul will check with the others and mark off the proper distance. It'll be 5 yards, and it'll be first down and 15.
Red ball, illegal procedure. First down.
His microphone isn't in better than mine. Been throwing headsets all over the place here, trying to find one that works. First down and 15. Will give you the South Carolina as soon as we have a chance, as they run the option and give it to the up back Thomas Dindy, who has been the leading rusher for South Carolina for 3 years. Mike Hold came from Arizona to play here. Thomas Dindy averaging about 6 yards on his career. Kent Haygood, 215-pound running back, in effect a fullback, if you could call him that. Eric Poole, the split end, 6-footer, and Sterling Sharp is the flanker, 6'1" and 195, a sophomore. The gain was out to about the 18, where it is now second down and 12, and they stay inside with the ball as Hold tried to take it away from his fullback, and I think the ball might have popped loose, but the indication from the referee is that he was down when the ball came loose.
Well, Michigan defense is very agile, Keith. Even though they're big, they move right across there and make the play.
Danny Smith is the tight end. He's 6'3", 200, not that big. Curtis Hill, 245 at tackle. Poinsett, 265 at guard. Burton, 250 at center. Carpenter, 260 at guard. And Quarles, 275 at tackle. Hold will put it up if he can find somebody to throw to. Penalty flags are downfield. And the ball was thrown away out of bounds. So the Michigan defense celebrating perhaps a little too soon here as we wait for the call in the secondary. This is a typical Michigan move, Frank. They were very happy to have South Carolina start on their 20, and this defensive unit believes they can stop almost anybody.
I'm going to have a first down.
Must have been pass interference or something.
Holding, I think.
Holding at the line of scrimmage on the tight end's what it was, I'm sure. Because the back judge is watching the tight end in the 7-man official crew.
Against the defense, the first pass was thrown. First down.
I believe that the Michigan team, the linebacker, was holding the tight end, didn't let him off the line of scrimmage illegally, and the back judge, keying on that man, called the play.
At his first down, the ball is at the 29 for the Gamecocks. The ball is thrown badly by Hold. He had Dendy out there in the flat all by himself, but he just simply didn't deliver the ball to him as Dendy had turned inside. There's the defensive alignment with Mesmer, Harris, Hammerstein, Scarcelli, Akers, McIntyre, and Moeller are the backers. The secondary, and it's a big group in that secondary: Rivers, Cochran, Hicks, and Gant. Gant's the hitter back there, the free safety. He plays center field. Cochran is 6'3", 210, and they've got a couple of people hurt that won't be in that secondary today that are about the same size, so they can put a lick on you. Hold getting pressure. He's going to be caught and sacked behind the line of scrimmage back at the 23-yard line. And Hold is not finding the people that he expected to find available because the Michigan secondary is simply not letting him have them.
Michigan has always believed that you win on defense. Here's what they did last week. On a 97 yards rushing, allowed to Notre Dame 2.7 yards per try. And Notre Dame has that big offensive line with Pinkett at tailback.
You don't run on Michigan.
You just don't run. You have to throw the ball and mix it up and do the surprise if you're going to beat Michigan.
You have to throw it. Look at it. Look at that. They got 8 people up there. Now 2 drop off. Hold gets some pressure from behind. Breaks out of it. He's across the line of scrimmage. Can't throw the ball. Gets out to about the 31. And South Carolina now will have to punt it away.
Give credit to the Michigan defense for putting pressure if you can't sack the pass. So the best next thing is to rush him out of the pocket, break down his pass protection. That's what the Michigan line of scrimmage did very effectively.
Tom O'Connor's in to punt for South Carolina, averaging just under 40 on the season. He'll get more than that out of this one, I think. He hangs it very high to Gilvanny Johnson, who had called a fair catch. The ball bounced away from him for a moment, but fortunately he was able to pull it away. And it's a 44-yarder for O'Connor. We'll get a crowd count later, but Frank, I don't believe there's a seat available in this Williams-Brice Stadium today. This is a big ball game for this part of the country, and especially for the Gamecocks. The ball is marked just short of the 24-yard line. First down for Michigan. Harbaugh gives it to Jamie Morris. Jamie, the younger of the 4 Morris brothers. All of them played at Syracuse until Jamie said, wait a minute, I'm going somewhere else. And so Earl and Addie said goodbye to him, and away he went to Michigan.
Well, Bo Schembechler told me last night that he recruited Morris as a punt returner, kick returner. Had no idea he'd be his tailback. He's always had big 195, 200-pound tailback, but this young man is so quick. Very outstanding ball carrier.
Cavicino is back in the ball game now. Bob got rattled around a little on the first series, but he's back in, snapping the ball to Harbaugh. Harbaugh turns to Morris, gives it to him, dives it up across the 26th near the 27, and again it is Kenneth Robinson, the junior from Charleston, South Carolina, who makes the hit. Robinson, a very active linebacker.
Linebackers in this scheme of South Carolina, they're free to just go the football. They're protected by the down linemen who are anchor men, building a place there for them to support, and that's a typical example of a linebacker diagnosing the play immediately.
So it is third down and about 7. The ball at the 27. Series started on the 24 for the Wolverines. No score in the first quarter. Harbaugh's back to throw. Throws it underneath again. This time it is Morris out of the backfield making the catch, and Jamie's going to be close to a first down as Chris Major brings him down the left corner. Ohio State and Colorado out west in the Rockies, with the Buffaloes out to an early lead. It was 17-0 Nebraska over Illinois, but now the Illini have come back to make the game of it. Iowa out big in the fourth quarter over Northern Illinois, and Penn State having quite a ruckus with East Carolina. Of course, East Carolina's not easy.
No, they're not, Keith. I agree with that. They've had some good football teams.
First down for the Wolverines at their own 35. And Harbaugh gives on a delay to Jamie Morris and watch him bounce outside. He's 5'7", so he is low to the ground and is very shifty. Robinson again part of the tacklers as Major came up to help him.
The best play that Michigan runs, a draw play, fake pass and run. Let the ball carrier just find an opening. And you can see that Hill misses the tackle. Morris has that quickness. He's the younger brother of Joe Morris of the New York Giants. Good bloodlines, Bo was telling me last night. That was one reason he offered him a scholarship, even though he's much smaller than he usually takes as a running back.
2nd down and 3. Fullback. A very slow play to develop. And the fullback never had a chance. Never had a chance.
Keith, that's what we call gang tackle. That's what every defense coach wants. 9 red shirts in on the play. Stopped him at the line of scrimmage. Just a great defensive effort by the entire front defense of that South Carolina team.
After being pummeled by 9 red shirts, Gerald White comes out to see if all the appendages are still in place.
Well, we've got a critical situation coming up with 3rd and short for this big Michigan offensive line. I expect South Carolina will go into a goal line defense.
Bob Perryman is in at fullback, number 37.
And they are.
Harbaugh will throw it. Gets his pass away, going deep with it. It's good. And good all the way down to the 16-yard line to Paul Jokic. Here's high. Jokic is 6'8", 240 with good speed. The cornerback on that side having to cover him is only 5'9", 175.
When I said South Carolina went into goal line defense, they had everybody up on the line of scrimmage, and Jokic goes right by the defensive back. As Keith has already mentioned, he's 6'8". Bo Schembechler told me last night, believe it or not, he has 4.6 speed. He's going to be an outstanding receiver. And get this, Bo Schembechler throwing on 3rd and 1. But Keith, it's a new Bo Schembechler.
Harbaugh is now 4 out of 4 for 62 yards, and White comes back into the fullback position for Michigan, has the ball, and he's stacked up at the 15.
When South Carolina gambled and went into a 3rd and 1 situation, they put everybody up on the line of scrimmage, sacrificing the pass coverage, and Michigan, with a good experienced quarterback in the coach's son, Jack Harbaugh, was the coach at Western Kentucky. Just a fine football player coming from his coach's family.
It's 2nd down and 8 now. The ball is just inside the 15. As the Wolverines are mounting the first threat of the day by either team. South Carolina goes after the play, and Jamie Morris shows some of his muscle as he cuts it back inside, realizing they had strung the play out, and he's still going to get a yard or so out of it.
South Carolina had a great recruiting year last year, and one of the people that they recruited is a number 99, Derek Little from Athens, Georgia. The coach is just a freshman. The coaches say he's going to be one of the great football players they've ever had. He's 6'4", weighs 230 pounds, and you can see why they believe that. That's a dominant play for a young freshman just out of high school.
It's 3rd down and 7 from the South Carolina 13. Harbaugh back to throw. Goes underneath with it, and he's close to a 1st down. He's going to be very close as Jamie Morris. They're slipping that tailback in underneath the linebackers and having a goodly amount of success with it.
Well, the linebackers are dropping very deep, Keith, to cover the ends, and the back coming out of the backfield has a chance. He's what they call a layoff receiver. If the ends are covered, dump it to the tailback and get something out of it. Harbaugh is just doing great with it. That's the 3rd catch for Morris.
It's a 1st down.
Very impressive by Michigan, mixing up the run and pass. Good seat, good quarterback leadership. That's the difference.
1st down at the 11 of South Carolina for the Wolverines, and 2:35. The clock running in the 1st quarter of play. You've got 3 tight ends, Caddis, Schmerge, and Brown in the ball game for Michigan. White the fullback and Morris the tailback. Morris, a head-up tackle. It's not the 11. I think I said the 11. It's the 6-yard line. Willie Hill hit him just as he got the ball. Willie Hill.
Hill is the middle linebacker. His assignment is to key that tailback and go wherever he goes, and he did exactly what he was taught in school to do, fill the hole for no gain.
Jamie Morris has come out of the ball game now, and you've got 2 fullbacks in the backfield for Michigan. Gerald White and Bob Perryman. So White drops into the tailback slot, a position he has played before, and they've got the big guys in there going for it. On second down and goal from the 6, Harbaugh options around the corner, gets loose on the corner, touchdown. Harbaugh is 6'3", 200 pounds. He ran the option. He looked back for the trailing back White. There was a South Carolina man that had cut him off. And so Jim just took it in.
This is the Michigan offense, an option play. The outside linebacker goes for the pitch man. The quarterback keeps it. Robinson has a chance to make the play right there, but he misses the tackle, and Harbaugh goes right in for the touchdown, something that Michigan has done on the line of scrimmage for years and years. Run the option play.
So they score with 1:39 to play in the first quarter.
Against the Gamecock.
And it's a penalty against South Carolina, so I would imagine Michigan will say thanks, but no thanks.
It'd be assessed on the kickoff, Keith.
Oh, well, yeah. Now in to hold is Monty Robbins, and it's Mike Gillette, a freshman from St. Joseph, Michigan, for the extra point try. And it's good. So Michigan with an impressive march that started back on their 24 to take the lead 7-0. Michigan will kick off after the foul call against South Carolina from the Gamecocks' 45-yard line. Oh, it was a 15-yard penalty call against them, and there are the numbers on the drive. They used up almost 6.5 minutes to put it in the end zone. Raynard Brown, and Sterling Sharp will be the deep people, with Sutkowicz kicking off. Rick Sutkowicz, and he'll knock this one into the seats.
Keith, let's go back and watch the touchdown run. Robinson, number 84, has the assignment of the quarterback. The end, number 93, is to take the inside fullback fake. Robinson has the quarterback, but he just gets outmaneuvered by the ability of Harbaugh, the quarterback. He dives for the legs, gets his arms around the quarterback. He cannot contain him. Harbaugh goes in for the touchdown, missed tackle resulting in the touchdown.
Big, strong kid.
Yes, 6'3".
Hold hands the ball away, and from the 20, Thomas Dendy will pick up about 4 yards. South Carolina has won 12 of their last 13 regular season games. And at halftime, it's 24-10 now, Nebraska over Illinois. And the final score out of the ACC. That's a comeback win for North Carolina State. Here goes Hold down the line. Boom. No chance to even think about pitching the ball that time. Here's Jim Lampley.
All right, Keith, here are 2 updates. Boston College hung on to beat Pitt 29-22. They got the second touchdown pass of the game from Halloran to Martin. And Halloran, who was booed last week in Sullivan Stadium, was 25 of 33 for 400 yards today for the Eagles. Meanwhile, East Carolina, 2-0 this year for the first time since Pat Dye left to go to Wyoming, is pressing Penn State. It's 17-10 in the fourth quarter, and East Carolina fumbled away a possible touchdown try. Back to you, Keith.
3rd down and 7. South Carolina. The ball is marked at the 23. And the Gamecocks haven't been able to do anything with their offense so far, and now they're stopped as the flags are dropped and the whistle.
What's happening to South Carolina? They cannot really get this offense set. They haven't been able to get pass protection. South Carolina only has 1 yard in total offense. Michigan 110 at this time. This is a very young South Carolina offensive line of scrimmage. Only one player of any note that played last year, Burton, number 50, the center.
In a word, they're disorganized at the moment. On 3rd down and 13, Mike Hold got a problem, runs away from it. Can't throw it now all the way across the field, but got a great block for the first down. It is number 41 who threw a tremendous block for him, Danny Smith, the tight end, and he runs for the first down.
What does Mike Hold, number 7, do best? Scramble with that football. Receivers covered. That's when he really becomes dangerous. Any defense coach will tell you, keep Mike Hold in the pocket. He will hurt you when he gets outside. He started to throw across the field, but he saw the first down. 41 Smith, the tight end, makes the key block, springing in for the first down.
Ball comes out to the 31-yard line. Hold coming down, keeps it in the middle, and turns right back into Ivan Hicks, the strong safety. And the strong safety, mind you, was almost at the line of scrimmage.
One thing that Mike Hull has to do to be effective is run the option play and work it outside and get the pitch if he's going to get any big plays.
First quarter is over. After one, Michigan 7, South Carolina nothing. It is 2nd down and 7, South Carolina. The ball at their own 33. Michigan leading 7-0, starting second quarter of play. Mike Hull, the quarterback, gets loose, has a man on the sidelines, and throws the ball too high for Eric Poole. He could have run for his first down, but he had the man on the sidelines, and he just simply didn't get it to him in time. Next week here on ABC, Auburn, Tennessee from Knoxville or Iowa, Iowa State. Check your local listing for the game in your area. Auburn, Tennessee matches up Tony Robinson, the quarterback, and the great running back of Auburn, Bo Jackson.
In the other group of the country, we'll see another Heisman Trophy candidate in Chuck Long of Iowa, the great quarterback.
3rd down and 7. South Carolina checking off. Running out of time. Get it away. Hull tries to throw a quick release pass, and he had no chance at it. And the South Carolina offensive unit continues to be a bit disorganized in the early going of the ball game.
Here are the stats. Michigan dominated. What's impressive to me and conclusive is that Michigan is going to pass the ball 68 yards in that first quarter as well as run it, and the time of possession terribly frustrating for South Carolina.
O'Connor's punt is a low line drive to Gilfani Johnson. Backs up to his own 25. Should give Michigan pretty good field position as he gets 2 blocks around the corner, and a penalty flag goes down at the 33-yard line of South Carolina. You might have a clip call back there. 45-yard low line drive punt, 12-yard return. Let's see about the penalty.
One of the 4 fundamental mistakes of the kicking game, penalties.
It is a clip, and so the Michigan Wolverines will be backed up inside their own 20, but they lead 7-0. Number 35, Michigan, is the man that gets nailed with a clip here. It's Dieter Heron coming down, and he just simply couldn't. The South Carolina man sort of outran him and trapped him into it.
Addison, the snapper, was the one that was clipped. Number 58. One of the fundamental mistakes of the kicking game is not only a 15-yard penalty, Keith. The loss of the return yards makes it about a 30-yard penalty.
Ball is at the 18-yard line for the Wolverines. First down, leading 7-0 with 14:16 to go in the first half. Morris. He bangs it all the way to the 24, 6 yards. Again, Jim.
One fascinating fact from the first half of the Nebraska-Illinois game, which Nebraska leads on 2 DuBose touchdowns, 24-10. Jack Trudeau had thrown 6 interceptions coming into the game. The glamour quarterback for Illinois has thrown 3 more in the first half against the Huskers. 9 interceptions now on the year for Trudeau as he, like Robbie Bosco, struggles with the Oski ball here early in the season. 24-10 Nebraska. Back to Keith Jackson.
Where it is 2nd down and 4 for Michigan. Go to Morris again. He's going to be a yard short of his first down as he gets out to about the 27. In passing yards so far, Michigan has 68 as Harbaugh has gone 5 for 5. South Carolina 0 yards. They're going to have to complete some passes to stay in this ballgame.
What was that defense? Something was different.
The surprise is Michigan's effective passing. Last week they were only, 5 for 17, but they were at critical times and kept the drive going. Harbaugh was very impressive in that drive for the touchdown.
Just short. Rushing plays, Morris has carried 7 times, White 4 times. So they're spreading it around. Harbaugh, the quarterback, has run twice.
Michigan has just dominated the line of scrimmage, keeping the ball, time of possession heavily in their favor.
Wilshire is in at tailback now for the Wolverines, with White staying at fullback on 3rd and a half a yard. Wilshire, he'll have the first down. South Carolina man that shut the gap just missed him, and with his surge is able to move the football out to about the 29-yard line.
Here's the plays of the Michigan scoring drive. The big one being the pass to Jokic, the big tight end, on 3rd and short yardage, catching the South Carolina defense with very little pass coverage, and then Harbaugh going in on the option play for the touchdown.
First down on the 29. First man up out of the I formation, the fullback, Gerald White. He'll have a yard on the carry to bring up 2nd down and 9. ABC Sunday afternoon baseball tomorrow. Pittsburgh and the New York Mets, or Montreal and St. Louis. Of course, the Cardinals and the Mets are tangled up in the race in the National League East. National League West getting a little tighter, too. 4.5 now. 2nd and 9. Saw some daylight to his left and takes off and runs out of bounds, and he's just short, maybe a couple of yards short of his first down. Here's Tim Brent.
Keith, Michigan center Bob Tabachino has come back out of the ball game. You can see they're working on his leg. It is the muscle that runs up the back of his left calf all the way down to his ankle, all the way up to his knee. He injured it in the pregame warm-ups. It gave him some problems. He went back into the game. He just came out. When he sat on the bench went over, and he hurt the leg even more. So right now, you can see they've got ice on it. They don't know if he's going to be back or not.
Well, that's a tough loss. Tabachino was fine offensive play and key to this offensive line of Michigan's.
It's 3rd down now, and call it a yard for the Wolverines for the first down. They've converted 5 out of 6 on 3rd down so far, but they may not this time, as the left tackle, number 78, Mark Hammerstein, jumped the count.
Well, the immediate effects of that penalty, it goes from a short yardage sneak, pretty much a consistent first down play, to now they've got to go to something big, maybe a pass.
Good ball. False start against the offense.
They send Jamie Morris back in at tailback and bring out Wilcher on 3rd down and 6.
South Carolina has yet to be able to solve the back coming out of the backfield, as Keith mentioned earlier. Tailback coming out, catching the short pass.
Harbaugh back to the sidelines, and it is incomplete. Good defensive play by Brad Edwards as he came across in front of Giovanni Johnson. Here's where the edge of the height in defense went to the defense. As Edwards is 6'3", Johnson is 6'1". Now, if you've got a 5'9" man back there checking Johnson, Frank, he makes the catch.
That's exactly right. What a great play Edwards made. Edwards was a quarterback in high school, one of the best defensive backs, young backs they've got in this football team. They say he's going to be a great one, just a sophomore.
In to punt, Monty Robbins hits it at the 24. Low kick. Dunlop comes up, takes it at the 31, dribbles it around, and finally has to fall on it at the 39. He's hit late after he is down. It'll be a penalty against Michigan as Thomas Wilcher got there too late. 35-yard punt for the Wolverines at 11:55 to go first half. 7-0 ball game. The team from the Big Ten, the Michigan Wolverines, leading Southern Independent South Carolina. The Gamecocks, after the Michigan penalty, have the ball first down at their own 46, far and away their best field position of the ball game. Mike Holt hands the ball off to Dendy. And he'll have maybe 2 yards on the carry. They're trying to pop him quickly, and so far they have not been able to do it. Their selection of plays, in 12 plays, they've thrown 2 passes. Dendy's run 3 times, and Hold has run 7 times, which tells you that the Michigan defense is doing what they want to do, make the quarterback keep the ball.
Not let them quarterback pitch to the great running backs or hand off to the running backs, stopping those 2 plays.
Now we've stopped it again here.
South Carolina is in a new formation for the first time, triple wide out. Taking the tight end out of the ball game, Keith.
Encroachment against the offense in the neutral zone.
I think the man at the top of the picture, the wideout up there, would have been Ryan Bethea. I think he lined up ahead of the ball.
The ball in the neutral zone after the snapper touches the ball. We're playing second down.
12-1, the Mets out big in the 8th inning over the Pirates. And it's second down and 15. They go to Dendy again, and Dendy is going to be thrown down back at the original line of scrimmage as he reaches the neighborhood of the 46. Mike Hammerstein making the tackle.
Hammerstein is a very interesting ball carrier for Michigan. He's kind of Bo likes, Keith. Not very big, but quick. Has that temperament of a defensive player. Never gives up. Number 67. Play away from him, but chase the football. You'll get involved in good thing that he did. He was right there to stop.
Oh, back to throw the ball. All kinds of pressure on him, scrambling around, looking for some help. Can't find any, and now he's going to reverse his field, deliver it across the field. Goes to Dendy. Dendy's in no better shape than was Hold. And a whole lot of scrambling results in nothing but a loss. Back to the 40-yard line.
Michigan defense doing a great job of containing Mike Hold from scrambling. Good, quick defensive guards, keeping Hold from getting outside and making the play.
Gilvanny Johnson goes deep, and Tom O'Connor comes in to punt. Third punt of the day. O'Connor 44 and 45. The high snap. He handles it all right and gets it out. It's a low kick, long but low, and gives Johnson some room. Well, I was waiting to see whether or not they called a clip down there. The crowd of more than 70,000 thought it was a clip, but there is no flag. 46-yard kick and an 11-yard return. Pretty good ball game for you Monday night here on ABC.
Eric Dickerson, Keith, is back after his holdout. Will be playing for the Rams. Kurt Warner, Seattle Seahawks, the great running back from Penn State, two of the best in pro football. I'm going to watch it.
I don't believe Dickerson comes back at full speed.
Well, I don't know. He looked like he could run all day every time we played him when he was at SMU.
Charlie White got over 100 yards for him last week. They give the ball to Jamie Morris, and Morris showing again the strength and balance. It turns a loss into a gain on the play, gain of about 1.5 yards.
Both defensive units, Keith, are getting some penetration, surprisingly, getting into the backfield, disrupting the plays before they have a chance to get started. As we look at Frank Sadler, the offensive coordinator, he's got some problems. He's had some early warnings that his team is not going to play well, and let's get things straightened out.
Second down and 8 for the Wolverines. Ball at the 27. Harbaugh all day goes underneath to White out of the backfield. White will be knocked down just short of his first down, just short of the 35. Here's Jim.
Keith, Navy's frustrations continue, and Indiana, which didn't win for 16 weeks in a row, has now won 2 weeks in a row. Here's one of the hottest quarterbacks in the country, Steve Bradley. This was his second touchdown pass of the game to Ernie Jones with less than a minute left. It gave Indiana the 38-35 victory over Navy. Back to Keith Jackson.
3rd and 1. Wilshire, the deep back, has it and has the first down. Wilshire and Morris both, when they go banging away for that short yardage play, go into the stack with a great deal of abandon. They just fling their bodies in there.
And neither one of them are very big, and they just, as Keith said, they're going hell-bent for level. Just right through there.
Well, that's the way you get it, isn't it?
That's exactly right. On short yardage, you don't look for a hold, you make one. Get what you can.
Morris is back. First down, Michigan. They're on 36. Wolverines lead 7-0. 8.5 minutes to go. First half. Harbaugh back to throw on first down. Again, throws it underneath, and it's a bad throw. But Jimmy had Morris available to him, wide open, and he just simply missed it.
What is South Carolina going to do to stop the passes to the tailback up the middle, Keith? Their linebackers got to quit dropping so deep, and one of them got to stay close to the line of scrimmage and cover the tailback.
They're giving him 12 yards.
Yes, the linebackers are dropping 15 yards, and the back has plenty of room to catch the ball and run for first down yardage.
Take that play all day, wouldn't you?
Yes, absolutely. That's just like taking candy away from a baby.
Second down and 10.
I could complete that. With my sore arm.
Harbaugh's got it and going big with it. Throwing for Johnson, too long. There was pretty good coverage on him that time as Chris Major was running right with Gilvanny Johnson. And so it'll bring up third down and 10.
Johnson has one step on Major.
Holding Michigan.
Man-for-man coverage. Rush was on. The ball's just overthrown just enough to be incomplete. Johnson did have one step on the cornerback. Safety man was up covering the back out of the backfield.
Wolverines backed up by the holding call now. The line of scrimmage was the 36. They've been flagged 5 times for 55 yards in the ball game.
The 10-yard holding against the offense declined. Third down.
Oh, hello.
That's an unusual call. It would have been second down and 20, a third down and 10. About equal, Keith. Third and 10 probably tougher to make than second down and 20 where you got 2 downs. Michigan was glad, though. If I was on Michigan's side, I was glad they didn't take the penalty.
Yes, sir. Look out for Big Jokic. He's wide to the bottom of the picture, 6'8". Harbaugh's looking for him. Got him down the middle. There he is. And it's a first down and then some all the way to the South Carolina 41-yard line. You got a 6'8", 240-pound split end. You know they're going to be looking for him on 3rd down and 10.
The timing on the pass is perfect. Just as Jokic turns inside, Harbaugh hits him right with the football. There's no coverage for that. He had plenty of time. When you have this much time, the defense is spread. The linebackers cannot get that deep. The safety men have to cover the deep passes so you can see how wide open he is. Jokic has 2 receptions for 63 yards.
Ball marked at the 42 of the Gamecocks. First down. Ball goes to Jamie Morris. Morris is hit hard by Kenneth Robinson, the 225-pound linebacker, and he took him down.
When you can run, you can make plays. Linebackers in this South Carolina defense are mobile. They move after the football. They're active. And to pull down a ball carrier like Morris in open field like that's a great feat. Great feat by Robinson. Number 84.
Loss of a yard, 2nd down, 11.
That's what Robinson did last week, 10 tackles.
Crowd trying to help. And Harbaugh, not able to convey the message he wanted, spins a timeout with 7 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the first half. And the Michigan Wolverines leading by a score of 7-0. A 7-0 ball game with that time remaining in the first half. 74,200 the attendance. And the Michigan Wolverines coming up with the ball at the South Carolina 43, 2nd down, 11. Harbaugh back. Dumps it off to Jamie Morris. And Morris will get to about the 40 before he is finally gang tackled. Good coverage out there by Chris Major. Slowed him down.
Major is a fast supporter from the halfback position. Loves to get in the tackles. Over 70 last year playing from his cornerback position. Number 13.
Michigan's passing game, 7 of the 11 passes thrown have been to the running backs. But the 2 big plays in this ball game have been to the wideout 6'8" Jokic. Double wide now. Johnson and Jokic to the same side on 3rd down and 9 from the 41. Harbaugh looks, runs away from the pressure, and dumps it off, incomplete. The pass was intended for Eric Caddis, the tight end. Jokic comes up screaming that he was held.
Well, Jokic was knocked down, Keith. I think it was just incidental bumping, but 42, the defensive back, Diggs, is the one that makes a great play. Now the scrambling of the quarterback just to start your pass defense. All you can do now as a defensive back is just hope you can get close to where he throws the ball. Diggs, number 42, doesn't give up, makes a great effort, puts that hand right out in front, knocks the ball out. Incomplete.
Monty Robbins in to punt on 4th down for the Wolverines, gets it away, and they're going to let it go. Wolverines are chasing it, and it takes a favorable bounce, and they'll be able to knock it dead down around the 8-yard line with 6 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the first half. That was a 33-yard punt, but very efficient. Lineup for next week. CFA football here on ABC at 3 Eastern time. Iowa State and Auburn, Tennessee.
Keith, we're going to see Bo Jackson running from the tailback position for the first time this year. He's been in the wishbone, carrying the ball about 15 times a ball game. Now he'll be carrying it 20.
Alan Mitchell comes in at quarterback. He started last year whole relieved. This year, Mitchell out of Batesburg is in relief, and he hands the ball off to the right side. Haygood, and from the 8 gets out close to the 12.
Mitchell started in 1983, started in 1984, went out for baseball. This is what he did in first 2 ball games, 10 out of 17. But Keith Mitchell went out for baseball in the spring, and Hull won the starting role, starting position. But Mitchell has the experience and has done quite well in the 2 years previous to this.
They're double wide. Got one of them way wide, and Mitchell keeps the ball inside, staying with Haygood. That was his first carry a moment ago. On his second carry, he gets about 1 more yard. So they're looking at second, maybe make it 2 yards. And they're looking at 3rd down and 4.
South Carolina plans going in this ball game was that they could make 400 yards and score 28 points. They're going to have to pick up if they're going to reach that goal, but they're the type team that can make the adjustments. Finesse team can make the adjustments and come up with some big plays.
They've been fetching around a lot along the line of scrimmage. They're not going to get a lot there. as Mitchell keeps the ball on the option play and gets out to about the 17 where they'll have to punt it. Here's Jim.
Who has it?
National League East, the Mets beat Pittsburgh 12-1. Gooden pitched 8 innings without giving up an earned run, now 39 innings in a row. Also had a home run and 4 RBIs. St. Louis beat Montreal 7-6, coming from behind on a 2-run homer by Jack Clark. Tomorrow, ABC Sunday afternoon baseball, Pittsburgh at the Mets or Montreal at St. Louis. Check in your area. Keith?
The punt by South Carolina, and Gilvani Johnson back, takes it. Finds a crack. Now he's knocked down at the Michigan 49. So the Wolverines get very good field position out of that exchange after the 40-yard punt. They'll start first down just short of midfield. The South Carolina defense once again called on to stop the Wolverines of Michigan as Michigan starts first down just short of midfield, leading 7-0. They have dominated the ball game to this point. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Give you an idea of their domination. They've produced 162 yards in offense, and South Carolina only 23. Wilshire is the tailback. And Harbaugh fakes it to him, rules it out. Gets his pass away. Jokic is wide open inside the 25.
When you have misdirection in the backfield, it really distorts your coverage. And a little misdirection fake in the backfield, Jokic number 84 is just going to find that open seam too deep for the linebacker and in front of the safety man, just an area that's difficult to cover when you have that much time to throw the ball.
They give him to the 24-yard line where it's first down for the Wolverines, and they're trying to put a counter in here, one more before the half. Jokic is out, Higgins is in now at the split end position, and Morris is the tailback, and he's got it. Jamie takes a pretty good whack down at the 20. It was Greg Philpott, the free safety, that comes up and lays the lick on him.
Watch from the left of your screen if you want to see how a safety man is supposed to support the running play. Watch 25 come right there. Boom! That is the way you play free safety in college football today.
And Morris came out. He probably took that helmet right in the sternum area, but looks like he's all right. And Wilshire comes back in on second down and 6. Wilshire cuts it back against the grain, breaks it over the left side to the 14. Penalty flag is down. You'll either have holding or a face guard, I think.
A little bit of a face guard, looked like, Keith. One of the South Carolina players was grabbing, trying to get him.
Yep. Carl Hill.
Number 85, Carl Hill, was a freshman All-American last year. Number 85 led the team in tackles. Big, tall youngster, not very big. You can see he gets driven off the line of scrimmage and reaches in at the last minute, grabs the face mask. Wilshire turns it around, and it's a penalty.
Marked down at the 8-yard line where it is first and goal to go for Michigan.
Michigan offense just been on this field the entire game. Seems like.
Schmerge is in at tight end now. You got the double tight end alignment. They're going to bang it in there. Give it to Wilshire, and he's down to the 5. Picked up 3. Shed Diggs, the principal tackler.
This is a typical Michigan style of play. Just power right ahead of them. Do what you can best. Big power, yards per possession, 40 yards. Each possession they had the ball for Michigan. Less than a half, just barely half of a first down for South Carolina. Less than 30 yards total offense so far. And they're very fortunate not to be down in more than 7 points.
That may change. Here goes Wilshire on a sweep. Cuts it back. Belted. Good sharp tackle. At the 4-yard line, momentum to the 3. Byron Love, the left tackle out of Griffin, Georgia, hit him.
Or if the South Carolina defense ever put on a goal line stand, they need it right now. Trying to establish credibility as a national power. Field goal would put them trailing only by 10 points.
Mike Gillette, place kicker, waiting on the sideline until he gets the call. Michigan 7 out of 10 on third down plays, and Jim Harbaugh does not like what he has under the circumstances, so he'll come to the sidelines and pass on the responsibility to somebody else to call the play. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first half. The conversation is now just about concluded on the sideline as Michigan tries to decide what it is they want to try to do here. And I am I'm really amazed that they have not put Jokic at 6'8" into the game, because he outsizes everybody in the South Carolina secondary considerably.
Keith, that would mean they're not going to throw the ball, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
Or some play-action pass.
No, there's 3 tight ends in there, and with Morris at tailback, Harbaugh options, goes to Morris, and he's got it. Jamie Morris outruns the pursuit and takes it into the end zone, losing a shoe in the process.
Once again, Michigan goes to the option play for years and years and years. Short yardage, down on the goal line, fake to the fullback. That draws a crowd. Then it's 2 plays in 1. The quarterback can either keep it, which he did, scored the first down. This time Little was in no man's land, didn't play the quarterback, didn't play the pitch, number 99. Morris takes it in for the touchdown.
On the 40th play of the first half, the 40th offensive play for the Wolverines, they've stretched it to 13-0, and now Gillette's in to try for the extra point. Got it. So the Wolverines continue impressive. They lead 14-0, 2:11 to go. Here's a look at the Michigan campus.
The University of Michigan is a very proud member of a very small set of institutions called research universities, combining distinguished scholarship, education, advanced research training, and professional training in a way that is distinctly American. The University of Michigan, a heritage of leadership.
Well, it's the old business of field position football. Michigan got it right about midfield, and then bang.
With their power running plays, they could just take it in, mixed up with play. Caddis, number 81, the tight end, he has to make the key block. Number 81, he gets outside, and he's going to seal off the linebacker right there. He cuts off the back where there's no support. Number 13, Major, as Morris takes the ball all the way around the right end for the touchdown.
South Carolina in this first half has run only 17 plays to 40 for Michigan.
South Carolina has been averaging 550 yards of all game in the first 2 encounters.
Rick Sutkowitz will kick it off for Michigan. Raynard Brown way back will have nothing to do with the return. It'll be first down for South Carolina out on the 20, and this is what we have for you at halftime. A lot of scores going on today and a few surprises. Maybe more before the day is done. Still early in the season. Virginia winning today over Georgia Tech. Looks like they might be a tough nut in the ACC. All right, it is Alan Mitchell coming back in at quarterback. He ran the last series. I find it very difficult sitting here to see how South Carolina can run that option stuff so close to the line of scrimmage. Frank?
They can't with Michigan penetrating, Keith.
Well, they almost got a man popped through there. Anthony Smith. He's 5'9", 195 from Irvington, Georgia, but again, he can't get free at the line of scrimmage. Somebody had a piece of him.
Your point is well taken. Michigan is getting enough penetration to get to the mesh point where it's not effective.
There's a first down with Raynard Brown carrying, and this time Raynard Brown, a 5'9", 185-pounder, finally got through there without somebody's arm on his leg, and he makes it a big play.
What South Carolina did was move inside rather than try to run the wide handoff outside the tackle. They ran it behind the guard for the big gain.
Ball is out near the 44 for the first down. And they go with the same play, and Brown again gets something out of it. Better part of 5 yards on the carry. And time now is pretty precious in this first half of play. Michigan leading 14-0. Gamecocks have all of their timeouts remaining. Second down, 4 from their own 49. Staying with that stuff inside. Short of the first down. They'll need 2 yards to keep the ball on third down.
South Carolina has 3 timeouts left, Keith. They're going to have to use one now.
They just spent one, so they have 2 remaining. And while we're waiting for play, let's have a look at the campus of the Gamecocks. Third down and 2 for South Carolina. 1:01 to play in the first half. And they have been roundly thrashed here in this first half.
A very confused offensive team. Michigan, with their experienced defensive team, has just been giving different looks, penetrating, confusing the quarterback.
Mitchell outside with it. Smith first down, out of bounds as he goes to the 43. Anthony Smith and Raynard Brown coming on in relief of Thomas Denby and Ken Haywood, and it's the 2 5-9ers now that are igniting some offense for South Carolina.
Anthony Smith can really fly. He's averaging 12.8 per rush.
Ball just short of the 42. Mitchell back to throw on first down. Gets his pass away underneath. The pass is good to Smith, but he's pinned short of his first down. He's inside the Michigan 35, near the 34.
A little bit of 2-minute offense.
In this possession, they've totaled twice as much yardage as they had before. Back to throw on second down and 3. Gets it off to the sidelines. Pass is complete to Sterling Sharp. And it's a first down inside the Michigan 20 at the 18.
That's poise on Mitchell's part. He dropped back. The rush was there. Watch Mitchell step up in the pocket, which quarterbacks are taught to do. Step right up. Now gather himself. Find the open receiver. It happens to be the receiver out on the boundary. There he is right there. Number 2, Sterling Sharp. Out of bounds he goes.
Gamecocks would really profit from a touchdown closing the half. 26 seconds to go. First down from the 18. Option play. Mitchell goes outside to Smith, the burner. He bounces away to the outside and gets on down to about the 10-yard line and close to a first down. And they need to kill the clock with a timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. He's just short of the first down. Time, you see it. 14 seconds.
Well, South Carolina has shown a lot of poise in this drive with Mitchell at quarterback, coming in relief. A senior, started 83 and 84. Timeouts remaining, 1 apiece. Second down and 1.
Well, 14 seconds on an eye. If you run an option play, that's going to take at least 7 seconds, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely, and you'd have to use your timeout unless you made the first down. You want to save your timeout in case you have to kick for a field goal and settle for a field goal.
They need 2 yards, roughly. 1.5 yards, let's say, for the first down. Maybe you call 2 plays in your huddle and go for your first down on your first one.
The one thing your quarterback wants to do is be sure not get sacked. If he's going to drop back and pass, get rid of the ball, throw it up in the end zone. If he out of the end zone, if his receivers are covered, but give his receiver a chance to catch if he's open. Be careful with it. Come out of this with at least the field goal attempt. There's number 11, Mitchell. It's all on his shoulders.
You're talking about maximum of 3 plays.
With 1 timeout, yes, Keith.
Mitchell looks to throw it. Gets it away, and it is incomplete. And you've got 11 seconds to play. The pass was intended for Danny Smith, the tight end, and Smith really didn't have a chance at it.
The pass was overthrown. Smith had a step on the receiver and could have caught the ball and maybe scored with it. Quarterback was careful with it. Didn't want to throw it close enough where he could have possibly had an interception.
He had 2 men there. Sharp was cutting back on a post, and the tight end going out. You got Haygood back in for blocking as Mitchell sets to throw again. Gets it off to Haygood, and Haygood will have the first down at the 5. And the clock now shows 4 seconds as South Carolina gets the first down, and in comes what?
The kicking team, Keith. They call timeout. They've used their timeout.
This pass pattern seemed slow, didn't it?
Yes, it was a back setting up as a block and coming off a block delay, trying to run for the touchdown, catching the short pass. You can see to the right of your screen, back Haygood just goes through the line, thinking maybe he can use his running ability and maneuver past the linebackers for the touchdown, but not so with the quickness and speed of the Michigan linebacker.
There was McIntyre, Andre McIntyre, that made the play for the Wolverines, and now with 4 seconds to play, Scott Hagler is in for a field goal try. And it's a chip shot. Ball will put down at the 12, so it's a 22-yard kick. He's 1 out of 2 from this distance so far this season. Hold is good, and the kick is away, and the kick is good. And so with 1 tick remaining on the clock, South Carolina gets on the scoreboard. An impressive drive under the leadership of Alan Mitchell down to the Michigan 5, but they ran out of time before they could cash it in, and they settled for 3. That's got to lift them a little bit going to the clubhouse.
Yes, you turn that momentum your side, going into that dressing room. It really makes a great deal of difference when you come out in the second half. You have that momentum, your execution is better. Michigan will be a little bit disappointed, but they still have played such an excellent first half. They've been significant in their yardage passing, which is a most surprise to me.
The temperature today, when we started the ball game, the forecast had been for high 80s, but we had a little cloud cover through the morning, and it was a little cooler than that. It was somewhere around the low 80s when we started the ball game, and it's not terribly uncomfortable down on the field. They play on grass. And next week, Knoxville, Auburn, Tennessee, and Iowa State. Number 1 team, number 4 team. That Auburn, Tennessee thing will be a sight, probably.
A lot of offense.
Bouncing kick. It's going to go out of bounds.
The clock does not start until the kick is touched, so there's still 1 second on the clock, and they'll have to kick it again. South Carolina really needed something to boost their morale. They've been so successful offensively last year with this Veer offense and the running and passing of their quarterbacks. They needed to get something going, and they did. That'll be a factor in the second half, Keith.
This time Hagler hits it low down the middle, and as soon as it's touched and the tackle is made on Jamie Morris, the half will be over, and there you have it. So the Michigan Wolverines dominate the first half of play. And to lead South Carolina 14-3, here's Tim with Coach Schembechler.
All right, Keith, I'm with Bo, and Bo, is a great first half offensively for you guys, 40 snaps. I do want to ask you about this last series, what they did differently to move the ball so well.
Well, of course, the bootleg pass got us the field position to start with. But we're playing a little spotty offensively. Defensively, did a good job up until this last episode here. Second time it's happened to us in 2 weeks.
Oh, offensively, though, you say it's spotty. The offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. 40 snaps to their 17 before that
I'd like
last
to
drive.
run the football a little better if I could. We're not blocking them as well as I'd like, to be honest with you.
I want to ask you about 3rd and 1, a key play in the first half, and you throw the ball to Jokic.
Well, they came after us, and we made up our minds we're not going to allow them to do that.
Okay, Bo, good luck the second half. So, pretty good first half. Offensively, Michigan is extremely strong, and they leave here at halftime 14-3.
CFA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Owens Corning. Our building products put your house in the pink. And by the people of Rockwell International, where science gets down to business. We'll be back with our halftime activities after this message and a word from our local station.
It's a 14-3 ball game. Michigan leading South Carolina here in Columbia today at Williams-Brice Stadium. The Wolverines were the dominant team for virtually the entire first half. In the closing minute, South Carolina started sprinting and came down to get a field goal. The big play in leading to Michigan's first touchdown was a hookup between Harbaugh, the quarterback, and Jokic, the big split end.
Well, Jokic is 6'8", and he has about a 9 or 10-inch advantage on this pass. It was a 3rd and short situation. South Carolina gambled to stop the run, and they paid for it right here as Jokic goes up, number 84, 6'8", catches the ball for a 41-yard gain.
And then the touchdown was scored by Harbaugh, the big quarterback, 200-pounder, big, strong youngster. He went in from 6 yards.
The option play is Bo Schembechler's favorite play. 2 and 1. The quarterback can keep it or he can pitch. Robinson, number 84, misses the tackle, and Harbaugh goes right in for the touchdown.
If you give Michigan the football at midfield, the chances are they'll get something out of it, and they did here as Morris cashes one in from 3 yards.
The option play again. This time the end got in the middle. The quarterback pitches. Morris goes around the defense for the touchdown.
But it was South Carolina that went to the clubhouse with a lift. They were able to use the ball move the ball against the Michigan defense. And now the University of South Carolina band, directed by Jim Copenhaver and Andy Gowan. Michigan leading South Carolina.
CFA College Football, Michigan versus South Carolina. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Peerless Faucet. Installs in no time, lasts a long time. And by Goodyear. Goodyear tires and Goodyear service for more good years in your car.
University of Michigan alumni.
Tim Brandt with South Carolina head coach Joe Morrison. And Joe, you have to be happy with the way the team drove down the field just before the half after sputtering. It looked like you used a lot of misdirections and throwbacks there to confuse them a little bit.
Well, we trying to move the ball and running it a little bit. We finally got it out where we could throw the ball a little bit. You know, offensively, we just didn't move the ball very well in the first half. Defense, I thought, played well, except for the 2 long passes and some third down situations. So if we can just be patient and pick away at them offensively and get some points on the board, and the defense played the same way the second half, I think we'll be all right.
Joe, very quickly, you mixed up your quarterbacks like you always do. What's going to happen in the second half with those two guys?
We're going to start off with Allen. He got us some points on the board. He's a little more consistent in there right now, and we'll come back with Mike later on.
All right, good luck the second half. All right, so that's the situation down here, Keith. Let's go upstairs and kick it off.
And South Carolina will get the ball to start the second half of play, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not Mr. Mitchell can keep South Carolina moving the football. Brown and Dunlop are the deep people for South Carolina, as Sutkowicz gets ready to kick it off for Michigan. 14-3, the Wolverines have dominated to this point. Line drive kick that is picked off 3 yards deep in the end zone by Renard Brown, who is a speedster, and he'd have been better off if he'd have left it alone, because he's nailed at the 17. Mark Messner is the defensive tackle, 245 for Michigan. Middle guard is Billy Harris, 255, a junior, and Mike Hammerstein, 260 at defensive tackle, with Scarcelli, 220, Akers, 220, McIntyre, 235, and Moeller, 220, the linebackers for the Wolverines. Here comes South Carolina now. First snap, second half, trailing 14-3. And they come out throwing the ball, go underneath with it. The pass is incomplete, thrown too low to Thomas Dindy out of the backfield. The defensive secondary for Michigan, Garland Rivers is 6'1", 185. Tony Gant is 6'2", 180, a senior, good one. Ivan Hicks, 6'2", 175, and Brad Cochran, the big hitter back there, at 6'3" and 210. Nickelbacks are in right now for Michigan on 2nd down and 10 from the South Carolina 17. Mitchell looks it over and seems to check it off. Drops the football and covers it back inside the 10. So Mitchell dropping the ball as he tried to get loose for an option, simply just was hit and lost it, and he's lucky to get it back. That's the offensive alignment for South Carolina. Too much penetration by the Michigan defensive people against the option offense so far. It'll be 3rd down and 20 for the Gamecocks, and Mitchell back to his end zone. Pursuit's on. He's got to throw it away. He gets it up the sidelines, and the pass is intended for Sharp, incomplete. Thrown in front of him, and he almost got nailed in the end zone.
Michigan dominated the first half. The stats show this, reflect this. Surprisingly, Michigan gained more yardage passing than rushing. One of the first times I can ever remember that. The undesirable statistic is the time of possession doubled for Michigan over the South Carolina team. Immediate problem, South Carolina finds some offense.
O'Connor kicks out of the end zone, and it's a beauty. Runs Gilvani Johnson all the way back to his own 37-yard line, and then he gets some help and comes back across midfield, and penalty flags are down.
Keith, that was a beautiful punt that just came close to flipping the end of the field over, and with the punt, with the penalty, it just about will.
54 yards on the punt, but there was a 13-yard return here that's about to get wiped out by the penalty. Clipping.
Something you don't rarely see with Michigan, penalties on the kicking game.
Tony Guyton, defensive end for the Gamecocks. Fitzgerald Davis is at tackle, 265. Shaking the other tackle, 230. Ricky Daniels, the other end, at 215. Now, linebacker who had 10 tackles in the first half, Kenny Robinson. Willie Hill in the middle at 230. And Carl Hill at 190, the weak side linebacker. So Michigan, with the penalty now, will start from their own 36-yard line, 1st down. Bob Perryman opens at fullback with Jamie Morris at the I-back. Jim Harbaugh, the quarterback, gives to Morris, and Morris is gang tackled after maybe a yard on the carry. The secondary for South Carolina, Chris Major, 5'9", at one corner, and Jerry Dunlop, 5'9", the other. That's Greg Philpott. He's 5'10", the free safety. Strong safety is Joe Brooks, the biggest man back there, 6'1", 95, and Dunlop, the other corner, is 5'9", 175. And if that is number 29 down on the field, that would be Jerry Dunlop, the right cornerback. And it looks like a knee problem.
Let's see, Jokic, number 84, is the receiver coming out, blocking on Dunlap, number 29. Let's see if we can detect what happened to his leg.
Hyperextended.
Just hyperextended. When he straightened his leg up to dodge the block, it seemed that the force of the shoulder pad caught it and injured his leg.
So a timeout for Jerry Dunlop. He's going to be helped off the field, and that could be a problem for the Carolina secondary. Michigan breaks this huddle, and the crowd now trying to stir up the fire ant defense. The ball near the 37, 2nd down and 9. 14-3, Michigan leading. Harbaugh's back to throw. Gets it off down the middle, and Jokic again is wide open right down the pipe, and a 1st down at the South Carolina 46-yard line.
Jokic just breaks in behind the linebackers as Harbaugh just waits till he gets open and throws the ball inside of Carl Hill, number 45, and inside of Robinson, number 84. 4 catches, 108 yards for this former basketball player playing football.
Morris on a sweep. And he's got almost 5 yards. Give him 4 on the carry. Bring up 2nd down and 6. The offensive alignment for Michigan reflected there. 13 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter of the ball game. And it's a game that the Wolverines came out, took the lead, and to some degree at least took the crowd out of the ball game, the home crowd. bounces around, uses the umpire for a blocker, and breaks it for a first down.
There's a clipping penalty, Keith, by the Jokic. It looked like clipped as he was coming back to aid Morris in his block.
That's what it is.
Jokic was trying a good effort and just tried to get in and help spring him for the touchdown, but he blocked from the rear.
I thought Morris used the umpire artfully that time.
He
As
did.
an extra blocker. There's the Boston College-Pittsburgh ball game. Seesawed back and forth. Here's the call.
As a clip against the offense, we're going to play second down.
Harbaugh has really executed his passing and his running and his faking to near perfection. I'm very impressed with his performance today.
You need to back up a little bit.
The penalty makes it second down and about 9. Harbaugh still got it, gets pressure, gets it off, completes it to Bob Perryman coming out of the backfield. The blitzing linebacker came firing in, but Harbaugh at 6'3", 200 gets it away just before he was hit.
Robinson, number 84, is going to blitz, trying to get some pressure on the quarterback, make him throw before the pattern develops. It was a little bit of a bootleg pattern. Robinson knocks Harbaugh down, but not before he gets the pass away and completes it for the first down.
Frank, somebody's asleep in that short zone in South Carolina.
The linebackers are just lost, Keith. The linebackers are having no effect on the passing defense.
Handoff is in the middle, and Perryman breaks it big and goes inside the 20 to about the 18. So Michigan's offensive scheme has been artfully run today by Jim Harbaugh.
Well, the right side of that offensive line, Huzar and Miller, Clayton Miller, number 79, just opened up a gaping hole for the fullback to go right through there. Perryman just has daylight immediately and runs right to the safety man.
Perryman out and White back in at fullback now. Morris remaining at tailback, and it's first down for the Wolverines, and the ball is at the 19 of South Carolina. Here goes Morris. He's nailed down at about the 17.
One thing it's causing the linebackers to be ineffective against the pass, Keith, would be that they're so interested and busy trying to stop the running game. They're having to get right up close to the line of scrimmage and blitz some of the time, that they're not being effective in backing up defending against the pass. It's hard to do both.
They're working on Perryman on the bench on the sidelines. He apparently was shaken up on his last carry. It is second down, call it 8 on the 17. Harbaugh rolls it out. Jim gets it away into the end zone, and it is incomplete, intended for Jokic, and it was a very good play by Otis Morris, playing in relief of Jerry Dunlap.
As Jokic goes deep, Morris is just going to take his right hand at the last minute. He has to make a split-second decision. Does he go for the ball? Does he go for the tackle, or try to intercept it? Watch it. Number 28 gets his right hand out in front, timed it perfectly. Knocked the ball down, incomplete.
Save the 6.
Save 6 is correct.
Third down and 8. Michigan's 8 out of 12 on third down plays. Crowd gets into it. Quarterback Harbaugh walks away from center and says, I want a half a shake anyhow.
Well,
so,
it's delay of the game, Keith. 25-second clock.
Was it? Did it run out?
Yes. When you have 25, the quarterback has a crowd noise procedure that he must use. If the referee denies it, he has to go ahead and snap the ball. And that's some of the fallacy of that crowd noise procedure that we have in the rule book. Meaning if he cannot hear the play, he looks at the referee, and the referee says, nope, go ahead, then he's got no choice to try to snap it in 25 seconds.
So it cost him 5 yards. And make it 3rd and 13, and the crowd's right back in it.
And the blitz is on, Keith. Going after it.
Can't get to him, and he fires it down the middle, and the pass intended for Giovanni Johnson is incomplete. Broken up by Joe Brooks, the strong safety. And out comes the place-kicking unit for the Wolverines.
Man-for-man coverage. Brooks trying to cover the Johnson, number 26. as Brooks comes in front, 23. Ball could have been caught, Keith. It had been thrown just a little bit closer to the receiver, a little bit out in front, it seemed to be.
Mike Gillette, 39-yard field goal try. Hammers it up there, and he got it.
Good.
And 9:59 to play in the third quarter. Michigan goes back to a 14-point lead, 17-3. Crowd of 74,200. And they've been pretty quiet so far with Michigan leading 17-3. Dunlap is back in the ball game after hurting his knee. He's out there, but it'll be Brown at the 2. And knocked off his feet at about the 13 or 14. Coming downfield flying was Carlitos Bostic. Oh, boy, did he come flying down and make a play. And he shook up Brown in the process. That's called giving up your body to do that. The hot man on the kickoff coverage. Gooden winning his 22nd today as the Mets beat Pittsburgh 12-1. And the Cardinals won 7-6. A little more interesting there. And the National League East race stays tight. This is Ken Haygood sweeping it. Nothing doing. They have lost something on that carry. Michigan's just overpowering South Carolina along the trenches right now.
The defensive line, give credit because they're getting penetration. There's very little offense by this South Carolina team because of the penetration of these defensive linemen. Hammerstein went into the backfield and made the play on the previous snap.
Got 2 Hammersteins, one of them Mike defensive tackle, Mark is an offensive tackle. Here's a little delay, goes to Haygood, and he pops out of there with it for a little bit, getting it up across the 15 to about the 17.
Field position has been one of the problems of South Carolina, not the major problem. It's hard to open up your whole offense, and when you start on the 12-yard line of 13, they've been backed up most of the ball game because they couldn't sustain any drives, and Michigan has kept the football.
I'm not at all sure with this defense anybody's going to put Michigan away.
Well, Michigan looks good defensively, Keith. Gang tackling, chasing the ball. They've been excellent on pass defense.
Show blitz. Going after Mitchell. They've got him in trouble. He gets it off, and whoa, boy, that was almost picked off. Number 41, Todd Schulte was the man that almost intercepted the ball. He had his hands on it, and Tony Gant was right there with him.
The rush coming from below your screen. Number 33, Akers, no one touched him. And he forces Mitchell out of the pocket, and Mitchell just throws it up the scrambles. He's lucky to get it back.
Here's the punt by O'Connor. Gilvanny Johnson looks for help, and he's tripped up. Tripped up by number 58 for South Carolina. Reached out a hand and got just enough of him, Joe Addison. And he did have that crease set up. He had 2 good blocks right in front of him. But Addison got just enough of him, and Michigan goes to work from their 38.
As we look at Joe Morrison.
Joe got a new mustache this year.
Yes, he has.
The Rams and the Seahawks. They're advertising Dickerson's return in that ball game, of course, versus Warner. But Dieter Brock, the new quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, and Dave Craig had a tremendous ball game last Sunday against San Diego. It is Wilshire and Perriman in the backfield now for Michigan with Johnson in motion. Penalty flags flying as Harbaugh pumps it and now whistles stop it.
Well, the offensive lineman moved before the snap, makes it a dead ball right there at the point. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty.
South Carolina player almost put too much of a hit on Harbaugh, otherwise he'd had a offsetting penalty.
I've been very impressed, and I repeat, Jim Harbaugh, coach's son.
With a dead ball. Encroachment. The offense came into the neutral zone. They'll play 1st and 15.
Jim's father was the defensive coordinator at Stanford, coached at Michigan. Been very impressive with his decision making as well as his execution. Running, scrambling, option play. There's his passing, 11 out of 17, 157. That's a little bit ahead of what Michigan usually throws.
White's in there at fullback at 8:27 to go, third quarter. And to throw it. Gets it away to the sidelines, and it is incomplete, intended for Jokic. Ball was thrown out of bounds.
Harbaugh to Jokic, out of bounds.
Good
cover. Jokic reminds me of?
Who is that?
Remember Ouija Thompson, who used to play at Florida State. And now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very much the same kind of he has the same look about it.
Ouija wasn't quite as heavy, but they were both 6'8", if I remember correctly.
And deceptively fast because of that long stride of it. Morris is back in at tailback now on 2nd down and 15. And they split him this time. Give it to White, the fullback. And White is back almost to the original line of scrimmage where Carl Hill brings him down.
Michigan's success on 3rd down conversions has been phenomenal. Normally Michigan doesn't make up the 3rd and longs, but they have in this ball game because of the execution of the quarterback, Harbaugh.
It's 3rd and 11. On the throw. He's got Gilvani Johnson, and he waited too long. It's intercepted on the deflection. And falling down is Greg Philpott. So Philpott had a chance to get it back up across the 40, but lost his footing on the cutback, and it's a turnover.
First turnover of the football game by either team.
He's got him here, and he waited too long.
He held the ball a little bit long and lobbed it in there, giving the secondary time to converge on the ball. The defense broke on the ball beautifully. Second effort, the tip drill. Philpott comes back and intercepted. Greg Philpott, number 25.
First down, South Carolina from their own 36 after the turnover. And they take it inside with Anthony Smith. And maybe 2 yards. That's generous.
Michigan,
like one.
Yeah, Michigan defense continues to just whip the offensive line of South Carolina, which are all new players this year, all seniors last year graduated. The starters.
Got to get a little deeper. Run that option stuff. There's your problem right there. Michigan falls on the football, and it's first down Wolverines down around the South Carolina 30.
Harris broke through. Number 56, the nose guard, got penetration right over the guard position, grabbed the quarterback. You can see that 56 breaks right through the line, grabs the quarterback as he starts to pitch the ball. Mitchell couldn't pitch it out, and who recovered it, Keith? I couldn't see the number.
It was Mark Messner.
Messner, number 60. Side. Okay. The play made by Harris, number 56.
And with 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, the Wolverines have manufactured good field position in that strong defensive unit. This is their best starting point of the ball game from the South Carolina 30. Harbaugh options down, gives it out on a pitch to Morris, and Morris has got a first down as Jamie gets inside the 20.
Major and Guyton on the stop.
Physical strength is very obvious in this football game. Scores of other games with Indiana winning their 2nd in a row, 38-35 over Navy. Navy losing last week to Delaware. McCallum finishes the game with 122 today, and Mike Shula had a pretty good day as Alabama won easily. Tied 3-0. And it's first down. They put the ball at the 17 of South Carolina. They send Morris inside to the 15.
Power by Michigan. Big offensive line trying to overpower the more mobile defensive players, but the size seems to be dominating right now and has throughout the ball game. Just power football. That's Bo Schembechler said at the half. We got 14 points, but we hadn't run the ball enough. Keith, you remember that? He wants to run it. That's physically defeat the other team. Intimidate them if you can with a running game.
On 2nd and 7. In goes Morris into the middle. Great big hole for him. Ball pops out of there. South Carolina covers it. Was he down or not?
Well, that was a late whistle. They're going to give it to South Carolina.
He was still struggling, standing upright, and the football came popping out of the scramble, and Carolina's on it.
42 Diggs is the man that's going to hit him. The rules say that if the forward progress of the player is over, well, I don't no.
He certainly wasn't down, and he was fighting for yardage.
I'd have to give good call by the official.
And South Carolina gets the ball back at their own 9. We've had 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and we've only had 3 in the game. And Mitchell comes out throwing. Sharp, overthrown. At him. He was in front of the defender, Cochran. Here's Jim.
We've seen the National League East. Here's what's happening in the West, where L.A. leads by 4.5 games. Cincinnati has lost today. The Dodgers, with Royce on the mound, now lead San Francisco 10-0 in the 5th. It is likely to become a 5.5 game lead. Tomorrow on ABC Sunday Afternoon Baseball, National League East, you'll see either the Pirates at the Mets or Montreal at St. Louis. Let's go back to Keith Jackson in Columbia.
2nd down and 10 from the 9. Mitchell back to throw again. Throws underneath. Ball is caught by Smith. Anthony Smith is up to about the 15-yard line before he is wrestled down. They've got to go to about the 19, obviously, for their first down, short of the 20.
One of the things that surprised me, Keith, is the inability of South Carolina to throw the ball to their tight end, Danny Smith, who has a phenomenal 25-yard average per reception. Just an outstanding receiver, hasn't caught a pass.
They need about 4.5 yards. Mitchell fires and got the first down as the pass is caught by Eric Poole. That's Poole's first catch of the day. Well, they've only thrown the ball to Smith 1 time, and the quarterback missed it on that particular play. But the Gamecocks now get the ball over the 20 and get a first down.
That's a major accomplishment so far for the South Carolina offense. The Michigan defense has been so effective at stopping both the run and the pass.
Well, they run the option play again, and it just isn't there.
Option play is the worst looking play in football when the defense gets penetration.
That's exactly right.
It is the worst looking play in football. There's nothing the quarterback can do but eat it. You look like it's a busted play. It looks horrible, and that's what's happening. Michigan penetrating the line of scrimmage.
2nd down, short 7. Passes away to the sidelines, and nope, no foul. Coming across to cover on the play was Doug Mallory on Danny Smith, the tight end. So they throw for the 2nd time to Smith, and it's the same result. The ball was thrown wide.
Hammerstein is the best pass rusher for Michigan. Number 66, he does the swim technique. Let's see how they keep him off. Number 68, Hill, is just going to tackle him right there with his left arm. There he goes. Pretty good tackle. Pretty good.
3rd down. Pressure on. Mitchell gets away. Throws it down the middle and throws it away. South Carolina's offense is in a panic right now. They had Anthony Smith down the middle, wide open at the 48-yard line of Michigan. Mitchell, after getting away, threw it 6 feet over his head.
When things go bad, they get worse, don't they, Keith?
Yep. This is the 7th punt of the ball game by Tom O'Connor. Low line drive kick gives Gilvani Johnson some room. And he shakes off the first hit. Comes on back around the 47-yard line of Michigan. So, once again, the Michigan defense stifles South Carolina's offense, and the Wolverines have field position. The dominance of Michigan so far reflected there. They ran 69 plays against Notre Dame last week. They're going to go way beyond that, I think, this week.
Had over 40 in the first half.
Yeah. They start at their 47, give the ball to the tailback, and a penalty flag goes down as Wilshire crosses midfield. While we're checking for the penalty, it looks like it's on the Wolverines.
A little holding.
Both these teams are in for a pretty tough Saturday next week. South Carolina's got to go over to Athens to play Georgia, and Michigan will go home to play Maryland. So neither one of them have an easy week next week.
Well, we talked about the scheduling of an independent like South Carolina has to play strong
with a
conference
10-yard
teams.
hold against the offense, 1st and 20.
Play strong conference teams early before the conference teams get in their own schedule. Makes it tough on team play early, in particular as young as South Carolina.
Penalties, Michigan now 9 for 85 yards. South Carolina 4 for 30. First down and 20. Harbaugh back to throw. Goes for Johnson. Incomplete. Johnson almost stole that one. Again, Jim.
All right, Keith, here's the American League East. The Yankees snapped an 8-game losing streak, beating Baltimore 5-2. Toronto is knotted up with Milwaukee in the 14th inning. Of course, Toronto has a 6.5-game lead. The two teams, I should say, which are tied up in the American League West, Kansas City and California, both play later this evening. Back to Keith Jackson in Columbia.
Harbaugh hit his first 5 passes in today's ball game, but he's missed his last 5. Second down and 20. 3:34 to go, third quarter. Michigan 17, South Carolina 3. And the Wolverines want to talk about things right now as we visit with Tim Brent.
Keith, Jim Harbaugh, the quarterback for Michigan, having a fine day today. You've mentioned that, well documented. We also mentioned that his dad, Jack, is the head coach at Western Michigan. Well, Western Michigan has an off day today, and Jack, I've got to ask you, because of your line of business and your schedule, have you seen Jim play while he's been in college at all?
No, this is my first chance of ever watching him play college football, and in high school we only had a chance to see him in one half usually because we had to run off to be with our team.
The way you're jumping around the sidelines here, pretty excited. You look like you're still coaching.
I have great empathy for parents after watching him play. It's much easier to coach than it is to be a father, I'm afraid.
Let me ask you this. You were, of course, on Bo Schembechler's staff at Michigan. Was that when Jim started to dream of playing for the Wolverines?
One of the great things about coaching is that our families have an opportunity to really participate in football. And Bo was very open. He opened to practices, opened the locker room. Jim was a fan of the Rick Leaches and the other players that played at Michigan. He hung around. He was a real Jim rat. And I appreciate Bo for getting that opportunity.
I've got to believe that you, being a defensive coach, that he is just well ingrained with everything that could happen defensively.
I've done very little coaching. Jack Elway gave me some advice a long time ago. Let him play and don't coach him.
All right, thanks, Jack. Keith?
All right, thanks, Timmy. That's the hardest thing in the world, to watch your own play. Harbaugh looks like a quarterback draw, and he turns it into a big gain as he goes up near midfield. It may well have been a pass, but it had the appearance of a quarterback draw.
He made a quick decision. His receivers were covered, broke right up the middle, had daylight to pick up the big yardage. Quick decisions by quarterback. Confidence, been there before. All the difference in the world.
It is now third down and a short 7 for Michigan. That's a big difference between third down and 12 or 15. Especially when you've got those big, lanky receivers out there. Jokic, ball's thrown up in the air for Jokic. He's out of bounds. He ran out of real estate on the sidelines. And Jokic is screaming about it. But from this angle, it appeared that Major was with him. I don't know if he was on him. Let's see.
Man-for-man coverage. Jokic giving a little push with his left hand there, and Major's pushing back. Now Majors just pushes him right out of bounds as he's going for the ball.
Well, the ball's out of bounds.
And it's all out of bounds. Academic.
Punting time. Dunlop is deep for Monty Robbins in kick formation. And pressure on, but Robbins gets it safely out, and it's a tail dragger. Could bounce anyway, and it bounces back upfield. And it'll be South Carolina's ball at their 31. That results in a 19-yard punt. Coming up next Saturday on our presentation of CFA football, Auburn, Tennessee. The opener in the SEC play for those two. And we'll have a look at Chuck Long, Hayden Fry's ball club, ranked 4th in the nation against Iowa State. So there'll be an old neighborhood battle out there. And a long-time traditional out of Knoxville. Check your local listing for the game in your area. And Mike Hold has come back in at quarterback for South Carolina. Hold back to throw, under pressure, runs away from it, scrambling now, going to get something out of it. And he comes up across the 40 and looks to have a first down. Mike Hold is also the son of a former player. Jim, his dad, played for the Buffalo Bills. And the Holds have traveled to every game that Mike has played in a South Carolina uniform. They live in Tempe, Arizona.
And Keith, here's the graphic that shows how he's brought his team from behind last year 5 times. When South Carolina was either tied or trailing, he brought them to victory.
In case you wonder how in the world a young man from Tempe, Arizona got to Columbia, South Carolina, Joe Morrison was trying to recruit him for New Mexico when Joe was the coach out there, and he just Stayed after him and finally got him back here. Holt gets it away, and it is incomplete. He had number 41 Smith down there, tried to throw the ball too deep to Sterling Sharp. If he'd taken the shorter man, he'd had a big play.
Keith, it's tough to rush the pass. So when you got 2 or 3 men, Hammerstein, number 66, has to get away from one. There he is, blocked by Denny, number 31. Now get away from him. Somebody else will probably pick him up right here. Yes. Wow, right in the head right there by 76, Quarles, and then another one, 31. He comes back and hits him again.
Mike is not a piano player.
That is tough to get back in the pass with that many men blocking it.
2nd down and 10. And Holt is back to throw. To the sidelines to Haygood, and Haygood, not concentrating, lets the ball trickle through his fingers, incomplete.
3rd down.
Michigan defense continues to confuse as much as anything the blocking assignments. South Carolina has seldom blocked the play that they have called in the huddle as they had planned for the ball game. Michigan giving them surprise.
Looks like the Huskers are going to be all right after all. Huh?
Tom Osmond with Dubose and the others. Great running attack.
Clemson going to a 10-3 lead over Georgia. 3rd down and 10. There's that pressure. He gets it away, and it is intercepted. Hammerstein's efforts are rewarded. Big Mike has an interception.
He'll be proud of that. He's had a great effort. He's just one of those temperament players in defense that just goes all out. Every play, fighting, he's trying to get back there, push, shove. He can't get back there, look up, quarterback gets rid of the ball right here, boom, one-handed. Hey, tip drill. Great play.
Now you'll grumble because you didn't get a chance to run with it. It is 1st down, Michigan at the South Carolina 32. Gamecocks just can't handle the Michigan defensive bunch. Right now they'll try to cash in this turnover. Here comes Wilcher. Got his helmet down and put a little hit on Greg Philpott as they went out of bounds.
South Carolina defense, as we look at the score, has tried their best to crowd the line of scrimmage, do anything to stop that Michigan attack, but when they did, Michigan hurt them with a pass. George Welch's team won a big one, Keith, over Georgia Tech.
Ball at the 27. 2nd down, 5. Goes good. Nope. I thought Wilcher might for a moment really pop that thing out of there, but they were able to get him and bring him down as he reached the 23. So he's about a yard short of his 1st down. Air Force continues to roll right along. Bart Weiss and company.
Well, he's an experienced wishbone quarterback there for us. Having a great year.
3rd and 1 for Michigan. This depends on the mark. Wilcher took a lick. Kenneth Robinson. He must have more than a dozen tackles by now, to be sure.
Keith, he had 10 at halftime. Just the strong side linebacker, just figuring in many plays.
They'll measure with 1:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. While they're measuring, let me ask you a question. South Carolina quarterbacks are quick. They don't, however, take a deep drop unless they're really scrambling. And they're just simply not having any success. You saw Akers eat him up a while ago. Should they not think about taking a deeper drop?
Normally, South Carolina has in their attack what we call a straight drop back, where they do drop back 7 steps and gives them more time to spread the defense. They've been throwing mostly play action passes, Keith, as you mentioned, fake and set up real quick, and that's tough to protect.
Obviously, you saw it was not a 1st down. They need just about a yard. They'll go. They took the long count. Nobody jumped. Harbaugh keeps it and gets the 1st down near the 20. Oh, there is some value in having a big, strong kid at quarterback.
Harbaugh is 6'3", weighs 200 pounds, runs a 4.7. Just a good, steady, strong quarterback. Runs the ball effectively. Handles the team. Has command of the team's effort. There is rushes. All critical yardage.
1st down. from the 20. Jamie Morris at tailback replacing Wilshire. And this time Jamie is cut down for a loss and a penalty flag. Is thrown out of the pocket, I believe, of the back judge.
On the stop. Flag down.
Shed Diggs made a good defensive play.
Third period.
Bo is
Ohio
not
State
pleased.
22, Colorado 7.
Clipping. Actually, they've had about 3 field goals called. 3, I think. Well, that's a big penalty, and that backs them up.
15 yards. Put them into a passing situation or a fake pass and run. But I would think they'd try to get that 25 yards for a first down in increments of 3 plays, not try to do it all at once. Just pick it down. If they don't make it, get the field goal, which is important right now.
The Michigan offense today, they've thrown for 157 and run for 150. Last year in the
we have
games,
a clip against the offense. Be first down.
in 4 games, Michigan passed for more than they ran. They lost all 4, so that merely enhances Bo's belief that you've got to run the ball. With 48 seconds now as the clock starts to go in the 3rd quarter. Harbaugh back, looks for Johnson. Going to take off with it. And runs out of bounds down around the 26.
Can you help us a little bit?
Stopping the clock with 34 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
That's Bo Schembechler. What a great coach he is. In the 1970s, his team led the nation in total defense for a 10-year period and also in scoring defense. He's crying a little bit about the penalties. You can see that look on his face, Keith.
You know, he's just 18 wins behind Fielding Yost in career victories at Michigan. There's every reason to think that he will get them.
He will get them. And he's done it with honesty and integrity. Michigan to be proud of the kind of program he's run.
2nd down at about 17. Power it over the right side and get it back to the 20, the original line of scrimmage, or close there too. And they'll be looking at 3rd and long.
Here's some of the stats that Bo has accomplished in his time. They're just fabulous. You can read them, but 15 straight seasons, 8 or more games, never had a losing season, 10 Big Ten championships out of the 16 years, 79% winning, just outstanding in every way. Believes in defense, believes in running the football, believes it's a contact sport, believes you have to be tough physically to win. Players that play for him love him. They would follow him over the hill, even it might mean their death. They love him.
Mike Hussar is the man hurt on the play. He's the 280-pound sophomore guard on the strong side for Michigan. And Mike is the man down on the field right now. Kentucky beating Tulane 16-11, so Jerry Cleveland's team gets a win, albeit not terribly impressive, after having lost their opener to Bowling Green. And at halftime, Oregon and Stanford in a pretty good one. I said last week, and I believe it's so, Oregon may be the spoiler out there in the Pac-10 this year. Columbia and company getting started up in the Ivy League. Harvard beating Columbia, and Wisconsin beats Nevada, Las Vegas by 26-23. Having a little trouble getting Big Mike cranked up here, but let's see if he's walking on his own. There's got to be help. Nope. Needs some help.
Well, Keith, there is a graphic that shows the dominance of the Michigan team. 323-93. We talked about the size superiority, the strength, the muscle against a more mobile, finesse team. There's no doubt who's had the upper hand today. There's Joe Morrison, who's turned the program around here at South Carolina very quickly, boldly, in a short span of time. Last year, South Carolina's best record in history, 10 wins and 2 losses. Convinced he has just done a good job of changing the attitude of the fans and the players, Keith.
Well, he opened with an easy win over Citadel, then had to struggle, fight for their life against Appalachian State. Had a week off to work some more, and now they haven't shown much against Michigan so far. Clock starts now. 3rd quarter is over. We will be back with Michigan and South Carolina after this message and a word from our local station. As we go to the final period of play, Michigan 17-3 over South Carolina. It is third down and close to 12 for Michigan at the South Carolina 21.5. Back goes Harbaugh. Gets it underneath to Jokic. Jokic is caught and hauled down short of the first down by Chris Major.
That was an excellent throw by Harbaugh right into Jokic, the tight end. Big here again, as Keith has already mentioned, giving up about 7 inches there.
9 inches.
9 inches. Good catch, good hands, as we could see there. 4th and 3 will bring on the field goal team.
20-3 if he is successful here. And they'll put the tee down on the 20-yard line. So it'll be a 30-yard field goal kick. Mike Gillette hammers it. A lot of leg on it. And it's good. So it is time for heroics from South Carolina if they are to get back into the ball game. Mike Gillette, 39 and 30-yard field goals today. It makes it 20-3 with 14 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the game. I'm not hyping something. I'm just merely telling you that this South Carolina crowd came storming from behind many times over the last couple of seasons to pull out ball games. But they were not teams of the quality of Michigan.
Well, as these numbers indicate, their problem has been devising some kind of offense that they can move the ball. They haven't been able to throw the ball or run the ball with any degree of consistency.
High kickoff by Sutkowitz. Returned by Raynard Brown. Bounces outside. And gives them field position up at the 28-yard line. And boy, I tell you, Greg Randall saved him. Brown, who may be the fastest of the fast, if he bounces past that one man, see you later. Our presentation of Sunday afternoon baseball tomorrow. It'll be Pittsburgh against the Mets or Montreal against the Cardinals. Check the game in your area. Mets and the Cards locked up in the National League East and having a row of it. On first down, back goes Mike Hole to throw. Pretty good protection. Now it gives up on it and throws the ball underneath to Haygood, and Haygood is going to lose a yard on the play as Doug Mallory came up to hit him.
Another penalty as we look at Bo.
It's against South Carolina. It's against Michigan, probably for a little bit late on the play.
Well, the ball carrier was fighting for extra yardage. 15-yard penalty. Let's see it again. Hole is dropping deep, Keith, as you suggested earlier. He gets back about 9 yards. His downfield receivers are covered. He has to lay the ball off to the back. Then a good tackle right there by number 8. That Doug Mallory came up, and there's the late hit right there. Piling on.
And on first down up at the 44. Into the middle goes Dendy, and it's the most substantial run of the day by Thomas Dendy as he picks up close to a first down yardage on that carry.
A play that survived the Veer for many, many years is the fake pass run lead block. Haygood making the key block, Denny making the run.
Second down and a half yard. Ball just inside the Michigan 47. The Wolverine defense a little late to get there. And Hold now on second and short wants to set up the big play, and he breaks it out himself, and he will have the first down and more as he is knocked out of bounds down around the 30-yard line.
He is quick, Keith. That is a perfect demonstration of why he was able to make things happen in the fourth quarter last year. His quickness. He fakes the pass. Michigan player makes a mistake by jumping. He threads his way between 3 or 4. He sidesteps a linebacker. He sidesteps a cornerback, picks up a block from Smith, 41, and steps out of bounds.
And from the 29, they take it inside to Haygood, and Haygood gets it down to the 24. That's a 5-yard pickup. Mallory and McIntyre combining for the tackle at 13 minutes to play in the ball game.
Had plenty of time for South Carolina to make some things happen. They have the speed at the wide outs. They have an outstanding tight end, good runners, a quarterback. Putting it together has been their problem. Getting the assignments down.
Hold back. This time he cannot get loose. number 33, Jeff Akers, who has been a torment for South Carolina all day long. It was Akers who had a hold of the quarterback a while ago, forcing a fumble and a turnover.
Akers is coming from the short side, away from the tight end. He gets a free rush at the quarterback, and he's just putting his ears back and coming.
So instead of 3rd down and a yard, they're looking at 3rd and 9. Old straight back this time. Again, jumps out of the pocket. Runs away from Hammerstein. Knows he's going to take a lick, but he takes the ball down to about the 18. You know what? I think he got a first down.
He did, Keith, and I don't see how in the world he got out of the rush. A Michigan man hit him head on. Watch this. He's back to pass. He's going to turn left with the ball. He's going to run right into number 60, Messner, and he has the strength to avoid the tackle. Messner, the big tackle, couldn't put him on the ground. He fakes Hammerstein out, sidesteps another man, and gets out of bounds.
It's first down at the 18. This is Denby trying to go outside. No chance. No way.
Not against Michigan. Michigan is a bend and not break type of defense. Seldom do you circle them and gets outside of them.
Got another Michigan man hurt, though.
They're getting a little bit tired, rushing the pass and chasing hold. Well, that's Akers hurt a little bit. Number 33.
Could be a cramp the way he's sitting.
Twist his lip right there, Keith. I got a letter this week. Man said he tried it twice in his bed. He twisted his lip, the acupuncture, and it worked both times. Wanted me to tell you that. I got it documented in my pocket, too.
Ball is marked just inside the 19. A loss of a yard on the play. Akers has to come out, and that puts Thiebert into the game at the backer position. And second down 11. South Carolina has not scored a touchdown today. Mike Hole trying to crank them up. They hand the ball. Oh, they didn't either. They pitch it outside to Dendy. Fooled me and fooled at least half of the Michigan defenders. And Dendy picks up good yardage on the carry down close to the 10.
Keith, in looking at the film, I was surprised at how effective the ball handling Hole has with this fake in the line. He fooled most everybody on this play with a good fake to Haygood and the pitch out to Dendy.
George Rogers, of course, the big man in career yardage here at South Carolina. But Dendy's moving right on up. This is hold on a keeper, quarterback bootleg, and he dives to the 5. First and goal, South Carolina.
Keith, he made another defensive man miss him. It's too far for me to tell who it was, but one of the linebackers had a shot at him, a clean shot. I cannot see who the number.
3 straight first downs for Mike Hold, and he's the leading rusher on the ball club. He's carried it 12 times for 47 yards.
And all on busted plays, a fake pass and run, something improvised, nothing scheduled.
It's first and goal for the Gamecocks, and they give it to Haygood, and Haygood is buried right at the line of scrimmage. Andre McIntyre, big junior out of Chicago, the first man to get to him.
Well, this performance by Hold, who brought the team from behind 5 times last year, has ignited the crowd. They're back in the ball game, Keith.
But he's second down and goal now after no gain at the 5. Looks to throw it. Pressure's coming, gets some help, and down at the 5.
And hit pretty hard.
He lost his footing right in front of Tony Gant, and Gant put him on down. So it's third and goal.
South Carolina very desperately needs to get a touchdown instead of a field goal. I believe that even if they fail to score on this down, they'll go for the touchdown rather than the field goal. Wouldn't you think, Keith?
At this point, I suspect so. 10-15 to play in the game. I think Hole's going to have to do it himself, isn't he? Little pop thrown in front of Eric Poole, and Poole got tangled up over there with Garland Rivers, and it looked to me like Poole sort of gave up on the play.
Well, Rivers had shivered him legally right here. Shivers right there by Rivers, gets his hand on him, and Poole just can't get away from him. Now Rivers breaks inside, but the ball has already been thrown.
So it's fourth and goal, and they will go for it. Ball went to Kent Haygood. And Haygood got relatively good penetration on the offensive surge, but Michigan stops him at the 1. So South Carolina is turned away. Well, there's some folks in a corner of the stadium over there rooting for the blue. And Michigan stopping South Carolina at the 1. Go to work with Perriman and White, 2 fullbacks lined up behind Harbaugh. And give it to the first man, Perriman, and he gets up to about the 3. The principal figure, I think, on that last play was Hammerstein, was it?
Number 66. Bo Schembechler says is the most underrated tackle in the Big Ten. Just one of those persistent football players, being blocked by number 72, Qualls. Falls back in, grabs the leg right there. Keith, I believe Haygood would have scored.
Might have.
Might have. Just got a hold of that leg and pulls him back. Hammerstein.
A lot of White there, though, I'll tell you. A lot of White.
Had some help from his linebackers.
Second down, 7 from about the 4. And Morris is now in the tailback position and running it left. And weaves his way out near the 10. So it'll be about 1.5 yards coming up on 3rd down.
Even though Morris is not very big, that was a big run, Keith. He weaved his way, as you said, right through some red shirts and took a heck of a blow just before he could make the first down.
Yeah, but when you're 175 pounds, you say, well, that's not very big. But you put it on a 5'6.5" frame, and it gets pretty big when it runs like that.
With piston-like legs, boy, he's quick.
3rd and 1. Fullbacks are back in there, and they give it a White. White trying for the first down. He's going to be very close to it. Very close to it. They're going to have, for the 6th year, their run for MS, multiple sclerosis, South Carolina Sigma Nu fraternity, carrying on what they started 6 years ago. Going to run from here to Athens, Georgia. And every mile is worth $1.
Probably take the football down to play in the ball game.
Yep.
Next week.
Chain in. Got the first down. Not by much, but enough.
Now it's time for the South Carolina defense to really gamble. They're going to have to take some chances. They may get hurt, but the only chance now is to penetrate extreme measures.
Well, they're whooped at this point, so you might as well just go on
after it.
See what happens. It'll make any difference whether you lose by 17 points or 27 points at this juncture. 8 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the ball game. They'll stay conservative. That's White. And White gets out to about the 15. Let's check in again with Jim.
One more look at the American League East, where Toronto has done it again, beating Milwaukee 2-1 in 14 innings. That shaves the magic number for the Blue Jays down to 9 games, as the Yankees, winning against Baltimore and snapping an 8-game loss streak, did nothing for them to narrow that 6.5-game Blue Jay margin. Back to Keith Jackson.
And a 2nd down and 5, just over the 15 for Michigan, staying with Perriman and White in the backfield. 2 big backs. Give it to Perriman this time. And he's up to the 19. So it'll be 3rd down and about 2.
The advantage of having a strong running attack is evident right now. When you have to make a yard, you get the ball on your own 1-yard line. You believe you can run the ball, and you run 3 times and make it. As we see what Nebraska had done. Dubose, another great game. Chuck Long, another one. What a great passer he is. We'll see him next week.
This is the 70th offensive play of the game for Michigan on 3rd and 2. They had 69 last week. Harbaugh keeps it. He's got the first down. And he's got a first down all the way out on the 38-yard line.
They just run that option play when they need it, Keith. Fake to the fullback on 3rd and short. And everybody crowds in to stop the fullback Perriman right there. And then Harbaugh just breaks outside, picks up a block by the tight end. Then Jim cuts back all the way and falls and slides for the big game.
And time now, 6:40. Morris is back in. They give to the fullback, and there's about a 2-yard surge on that. Harbaugh has produced, passing 165 yards today, has run for another 47.
Well, he's had a great ball game. He's gaining confidence. I repeat what we said earlier. Jim started the first 4 games last year, was hurt against Michigan State, missed the rest of the season, and they were 3-1 with him as a starter.
They're taking their time, coming up with the ball on 2nd down, call it 7. Ball just short of the 40. Staying on the ground. Make them stop him on the ground now. As Morris takes a hit, bounces outside, and produces a first down. He's tough. Watch the hit now. You'll get a bang from Philpott.
Philpott, number 25, the safety man, is going to get a clean shot at Morris. They're both about the same size right there. But Morris just braces himself, gathers himself up again, and falls outside for another big game. Majors finally brings him down for more yardage.
He's got 79 on 21 carries and a touchdown. Ball is on the South Carolina 49. Wilshire breaks it big. It's a foot race to the corner, and he's out of bounds inside the 10 at the 8-yard line, and he's knocked out by Brad Edwards.
Give credit to that Michigan offensive line. They're just opening up holes across there. Elliott, number 72. Hammerstein, number 78. Herrick, number 69. Vitelli, I guess, is in guard, number 67. Clay Miller, number 79. Just doing a great job. That was a beautiful blocking.
And hurt on the play was Willie Hill, the middle linebacker for South Carolina, has to leave the game, and Michigan now 1st and goal to go at the Gamecocks 8-yard line. Well, it looks like it's the Banger is going to win the contest against the Jabber, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And Michigan, with a big win last week at Notre Dame, kept Notre Dame out of the end zone. 4 field goals by Notre Dame, but no touchdowns. Gaining confidence, coming back after their 6-6 record of last year.
Big backs are back in there. Perriman and White. Harbaugh coming down on an option, gives it back to White. White into the end zone. Touchdown.
Gerald White, touchdown.
The South Carolina defense is worn out and just not able to stop the offensive surge.
You're exactly right. They're just worn completely down, snap after snap. The muscle of Michigan pouring it on them. Excellent execution of the option play by quarterback Harbaugh.
447 yards offense in the ball game for the Wolverines. Gillette for the point. Good. At 5 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the ball game, the Wolverines have it in hand, 27-3. When you take the football on your 1, go 99 yards in 10 plays, and use 4.5 minutes against a tiring defensive team on the other side, I would say you've got control of it. They didn't throw one single pass. Sutkowitz sails it downfield to Renard Brown. And Brown goes down at the 22. Auburn and Tennessee. Well, here again you have sort of, well, you have the muscle game, Auburn against the finesse game of Tennessee. And Iowa, of course, they mix it up pretty well, but their principal weapon against Iowa State, obviously, is Chuck Long, their fine quarterback. Check the game listed in your area for next Saturday of CFA football here on ABC. 5:31 play in the ball game, and Mike Hold is in at quarterback with Brown and Smith behind him, and Hold back to throw it. Runs away from Hammerstein and sets sail. Mike Hold has been the entire South Carolina offense. He's got a first down up across the 40.
Michigan playing very soft in the secondary, trying to keep Mike Hold contained, Keith, and he just, when he scrambled right up the middle.
Georgia 17.
He's gained 73 yards now on 14 carries and completed 2 out of 7 passes for a -6 yards. Takes that deep drop again, a little better protection, and hits Smith with it, and he's knocked out of bounds right around midfield. Well, they're down 27-3 with 5 minutes to play.
McIntyre and Schulte.
They'd have to get 3 touchdowns in a big hurry to even have any hope. And
that's not going to happen against the Michigan defense.
Nope.
Bo Schembechler had his worst season last year, 6 losses, including the bowl game against Brigham Young, and people were kind of writing him off, but he's right back in there.
That ball was intercepted as it bounces off Kent Haygood. So Michigan has another turnover at their own 49. Tim Schulte, the linebacker, drifting in behind Haygood. And when the ball bounced off Haygood, it bounced right into Tim's hands. So Michigan, with another turnover now, comes up to the 49 on their side of the field. First down, and Zerbrugge is in. Chris Zerbrugge is in at quarterback. Hands the ball inside to Perryman at fullback with Ernie Holloway, a sophomore, now in at tailback, number 48. There's Chris, 6'1", 190, a junior from Alliance, Ohio. In turnovers, South Carolina with 3 and Michigan with 2. For Joe Morrison and his folks, not a good day. They'll have to do some thinking about things, starting, I'm sure, tonight. And of course, my feeling on a game like this, sort of sometimes, Frank, is it's this kind of a Sunday when you find out who your real friends are.
That's exactly right. They've been expected to have another great year, and they still can. They've got to put it together.
This is Holloway, and he's exciting now against a very tired South Carolina defensive unit that has been on the field hour after hour today. And Holloway runs the ball down to about the 35-yard line. There's Jim Harbaugh, the quarterback, and Jack Harbaugh, the coach at Western Michigan.
I really liked Jack's father's comments earlier. It's much tougher to be the father than it is the coach.
And had a fine day.
He's had 2 great ball games. He was outstanding last week against Notre Dame.
There goes Holloway again, and Holloway at 5'10", 185 is quick. Here's that 99-yard drive that really was the door slammer for Michigan.
Just power running, good blocking by the offensive line, just play after play. Option play by Harbaugh for the big run. Perryman, Morris continuing to move, then Wiltshire, big run, 41 yards. Very
and we
impressive.
got a Michigan man a little shaken up. That's Holloway, who comes wobbling off the field. Ernie took a lick apparently when he carried the ball, and I don't know if he's hurt or if he just doesn't know what town he's in. Looks like he might have hurt his leg a little. Well, he's quick though, isn't he?
He looked like Jackrabbit out there. He, like you say, Keith, he was fresh, and everybody else is a little bit tired right now.
Yeah, makes a big difference. 2nd down and 6. This is Wilson. And he's belted out of bounds right at the marker by Greg Philpott. We'll run down the day's activities for you right after our ball game today with 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go here. Jimmy, I hope you got a lot of scores.
It's been a fast ball game with Michigan running the football most of the time and keeping it on the ground. The clock has run very rapidly, and South Carolina's had very little chance to get the football and do anything with it.
Michigan has run for 307 yards against South Carolina today, and this is Perryman. No, White. Gerald White. Gerald is from Titusville, Florida. Of course, there have been quite a few young men from Florida find their way to Michigan of late. Anthony Carter kind of started things for them, I guess, and became an All-American. And Gerald White, of course, played on as a freshman with Anthony Carter.
Bo does a lot of recruiting for speed, in particular running backs and wide receivers in the Florida area where the weather seems to develop more speed.
2nd down and about 6. This is Wiltshire again. Penalty flag goes down as Wiltshire plows his way. Thomas getting all the way down to the 10.
Well, they'll be brought back. Some infraction in the offensive line.
Called holding.
Holding against Michigan.
Next for Michigan at home will be Maryland. Next for South Carolina on the road will be Georgia.
That's a very intense rivalry between Georgia and South
Another
Carolina.
10-yard holding against the offense, 2nd down.
That's because so many Georgia boys come over here to play football.
That's right. It's very, very heated.
Second down and 16. Now as the ball comes back to the 31, and here comes Thomas Wiltshire again. And all Michigan is interested in right now, they got all the points they need. They just want to run that clock on off and leave town. A winner. South Carolina went up in 1980 to Ann Arbor and beat them 17-14. That was George Rogers' year. There, the American League East scores today as Toronto won one in 14 innings. That's a big win. That is a big win. Got to give them a lot of confidence. It takes some grit to hang in 14 innings and win a 2-1 ball game
in a tight pennant race.
3rd and 11. And back goes Chris Zurbrugg to throw it down the middle. The pass is caught inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. The pass caught by Ken Higgins, a junior from Battle Creek.
Zurbrugg is just going to drop back after the fake. Linebackers are held wide open. Number 31, Higgins, the wide receiver, coming in behind the linebackers.
1st and goal, Michigan at the South Carolina 8 with 1:20 to play in the ball game. Zurbrugg gives it outside to Wilcher, and he's down to about the 5. He almost held it too long that time, but it's easy time now on the Michigan side of the field.
I just have to give a lot of credit to the Michigan team, Keith. They won a big ball game last week, and you think they might be chirping a little bit after beating Notre Dame and coming down here and maybe looking ahead to some of the Big Ten teams, but they were ready to play on both sides of that football with a good physical contest.
Zurbrugg lobs it in the corner, and it is incomplete, intended for Ken Higgins. Tried to put it up on a fade route, and it didn't work. Michigan's opening conference game will be at home October 5th against the Wisconsin Badgers. Then they go up to East Lansing. Got a South Carolina man hurt on the previous play, stopping the clock at 43 seconds. Well, with Keith Byers injured, they should be getting him back, they think, in 2 weeks. So it's going to be interesting. This Michigan team is going to have to be reckoned with in the Big Ten.
Hundreds of dollars.
Michigan, Zurbrugg gives the ball to Wilcher, dives it into the end zone from the 6. Thomas Wilcher. And Michigan builds its lead now to 30 points over South Carolina. The outcome of the game is utterly academic.
Good experience for this second team. Most of the alternate offensive line. Wilcher, the backup tailback, showing that he can run on the goal line. Covers that ball, runs north and south, ducks, gets his shoulder pads over his shoe tops, and goes in for the touchdown.
Gillette for the extra point try. Good. Michigan has run for 325 yards, passed for 182 yards. That's 507 total. The most merciful note on that graphic there may be the 39 seconds remaining. The kickoff is out of bounds in the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. This is the most yards that a Michigan team has run up against an opponent since Minnesota in 1983. So Bo was kind of grinning after winning that ball game last week, and he made a passing comment, said, maybe we ain't the dogs they think we are.
That was a great comment, Keith. It was.
I think
He
he's
said,
right.
we ain't dead yet either. Said people were counting us out, but they found out a little different. Michigan has such great tradition in football. Showed a lot of character and a lot of leadership out here today.
Mike Holt, who's been exciting for South Carolina, virtually all of their offense, wants to throw the ball as far as he can and does finally. But I think if you really took a look, guys, you'd find that Michael was over the line of scrimmage. But they won't flag it. Why? What's the point? 34-3 ball game with 29 seconds to play.
Terribly frustrating afternoon for the South Carolina offense. Young offensive line, but good special skill people that just couldn't get in the flow of the game today because of the Michigan defense.
Well, Hold today, 3 out of 10 for 1 yard passing. Those are not productive numbers. That little pass is thrown out there, and it looked like he didn't really have a handle on it, but they're going to call it a catch and rule a loss back near the 15-yard line. And now the clock will keep right on ticking as South Carolina comes up for what may be the last snap of the ball game. Mike Holt lets it fly. Nobody down there but Michigan people, and it is intercepted by Greg Randall. And Randall comes back to about the 45, and this one is history. The Michigan Wolverines defeat the South Carolina Gamecocks 34-3. Executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Coverage of today's game produced by Chuck Howard. Directed by Andy Sedaris. Technical director Jeff Suarez. Associate director Jack Graham. Our spotter Todd Barry, our statistician Dave Burnson. This ABC Sports Exclusive brought to you by Pennzoil Motor Oil. Quality protection, ask for it. By the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. And by the American Gas Association. Gas, America's best energy value. Final score, Michigan 34 and South Carolina 3. Big day for young Jim Harbaugh. Stay tuned now for updated highlights and scores of today's football action on College Football Scoreboard and a conversation with Coach Bo Schembechler. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United, the only airline to serve all 50 states. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports.